The doors on the board.
Off the field, on the field.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun.
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Yeah, welcome into the Monday edition of Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hope everybody had a fabulous weekend. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Nick Keys are here with you on this Monday morning. Joe Rexrode, happy Monday. How we doing?
Well, I mean, this thing is just bizarre, whatever's going on with this mic here, which I probably would have been fine, but then Nick had to show right before the show tell me how it's broken, and now I can't, I can't even get over it.
Totally screwed it up. Yep.
So we'll see how that goes. And not great. Heartbreaker for the Knights.
It was.
Thank you, seniors. Tough loss. You lose your quarterback, and it's tough. But congrats to Tullahoma.
Way to go, Tullahoma. Yep. Tough one over the weekend for Nolensville. I think, Hendersonville won. I could never get a final score.
I can double check.
They were up like 41-28 in the fourth quarter. So I'm pretty sure they won.
There we go. Good dub, we think.
We think. Who knows? What a weekend. No Titans football this weekend, so it was just kind of a day kicking back, watching the NFL. Saw, obviously, a little bit of my Packers play yesterday. Saw C.J. Stroud go nuts yesterday in that game and throw for 500 yards or whatever he threw for and lead the comeback, the 39-37 win for the Texans. That was pretty outstanding.
I might want to change my answer from the other day.
He's pretty good.
But just remember, the only idiot is the person who right now thinks that they know. But I will say, he looks pretty freaking
He
good.
does look pretty good. They win 39-37 against Tampa Bay, who, by the way, is the next opponent for the Tennessee Titans. Stroud, 30 of 42, 470 yards, 5 touchdowns for the Texans yesterday, who, by the way, lost their field goal kicker in the game and had a running back out there kicking field goals.
Yeah, and did all right.
Yeah,
did
not
all
bad.
right for sure. Yeah. So, I tell you what, I watched a fair amount of that second half, and there were times when it looked like Tampa Bay was just going to kind of, could pull away. And Stroud looks good, man. I mean, he does have a pretty good receiving core.
He does.
I mean, like they're actually not a bad team. I think they did a heck of a job with their coaching hire.
Yep.
I think he's going to be a really good coach, but I mean, the guy's good. Poise and accuracy for all the other stuff. I mean, Stroud, whatever. There were, I wasn't sure if he had everything you needed. And actually, of all the quarterbacks, he was the least threatening with his legs. But poise and accuracy, he's got that.
He
stands in and he puts the ball where it needs to be over and over again, and that's still most important.
Yep, no question. Colts win yesterday, too, 27-13 against the Panthers. Nice performance by Gardner Minshew, I suppose. Panthers not very good. Bryce Young, not a good day yesterday.
Not a good day. Couple of pick sixes. He had him rallied. It was 2010. He's driving to make it 2017, and pick six. Yeah.
Not great.
Not great for Bryce. But here's what I saw then. Here's what I saw. And this is just like Titans Twitter. Oh, my God. C.J. Stroud is going to be so – I'm like, look, let's wait and see. Taking Bryce Young where you okay. And he looked like a rookie yesterday. I mean, last week Stroud looked terrible, and
Correct.
They lost to Bryce Young and the Panthers. So let's just remember week to week in this league. Week to week in this league. I mean, the Ravens destroy another team.
Yeah.
So the Titans should feel better about losing a close game to them?
Right.
No. It's week to week.
How about the Vikings yesterday? So Dobbs gets in there. Jarrett, I already forgot the name of the starting quarterback for Minnesota, but he goes down.
Jaron Hall.
Jaron Hall. He goes down on the first drive, and Dobbs has to come in there after being there for 4 days or whatever he's there for. And not only do they win the game, but it requires a 2-minute drive for Dobbs and the Vikings to go down the field and score a touchdown and win the game. There were a couple different points in that drive where it looked like he was in serious trouble. He had the magical escape on that third down to pick up the first down. He throws the touchdown pass, and Josh Dobbs, in his Vikings debut, wins it for him, 31-28. Pretty awesome.
Incredible. I mean, no reps in practice. Kevin O'Connell has to basically tell him, okay, so this is what we do on this play, right. Josh.
Yes.
Look,
They're going over the cadence on the sideline,
Yeah.
like him in the center.
look at the dagger out here, maybe, let's draw some up in the dirt. No, I mean, it was truly remarkable what he did yesterday. What a story. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch him as he learns the offense and gets the rest of the season with a lot of good players around him. Certainly the best situation he's ever been in, to see if he can do something. I mean, I will say, this is where, if you're the Falcons, you weren't prepared for him. So in that game, there was no spying on him, which if you play Josh Dobbs, I think that's a given that you have to do that. And so, they got caught a little bit, although I don't understand why you don't adjust, in game. But what a performance by him. Rocket scientist.
Yeah, he did that, People would never bring that up with Josh Dobbs.
Yeah.
They brought that up on the broadcast again yesterday. I was like, really? Did he study astrophysicist or whatever he was at Tennessee? Never heard that before. Astro Dobbs. Good for him.
Yep.
The 3 headlining games of the NFL yesterday. Kansas City takes down Miami early in the morning yesterday. In Frankfurt over in Germany, 21-14. The Eagles hold on against the Cowboys, 28-23. And then last night, Cincinnati at home, 24-18 win against Buffalo. Cincinnati, I believe that's 4 in a row for them now. They're starting to look pretty good. They figured things out.
It is funny. They were all across the league. Well, they're done.
Yep.
They're toast. And it's it was just way too early for that. I mean, Joe Burrow. How many plays last night are directly tied to Joe Burrow escaping rush, extending plays, either running or just making a play downfield? Because which, as we remember here, when we were like, wow, great performance, Titans defense. He just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And he couldn't even push the ball down the field in this game here. So they got it working. Their defense looked really good, too. They were all over Josh Allen. I mean, he made some plays for sure. Stephon Diggs is great, but I think that's like contender, pretender. I'm not ready to say the Bills are a pretender, but and I know it was at home at night. That's a better football team. Cincinnati's just a better football team than Buffalo.
Buffalo at 5-4 now on the season after that loss. What did you make of Tennessee and Vanderbilt over the weekend? Tennessee against UConn. I mean, it's 59-3. So not a whole lot going on in that game. It was over pretty much from the jump. They scored 3 defensive touchdowns, which I believe is the first time in the history of their program that they've done that. So
since box scores came out in the 40s.
Right. So 3 defensive touchdowns for Tennessee against UConn. Nico got in there and threw his first touchdown pass, and then Nico was out of there, and Gaston Moore was in there, which did not go over well with the fan base, but it was interesting. Good to see everybody getting playing time. I didn't have a huge problem with it. And then Vanderbilt loses again at home to Auburn.
Yeah, well, Tennessee, it's UConn, but
right.
I liked how Joe Milton threw the ball. Obviously, you got Jalen Wright pops off in the second play of the game. Momentum. And you seem to get out okay in terms of injuries, although lots of injuries on those extra points.
Yeah.
Just as Josh Heupel makes a point for everybody, like, well, okay, if you guys can fake injuries in the middle of our series, we'll fake injuries and give our defense a rest.
That's right.
That's an interesting. And then the Jim Mora Jr. Josh Heupel.
That was
handshake.
interesting.
And then Jim Mora's quote, which is, well, I'm just proud of the class that we displayed before, during, and after the game.
I'm trying to figure out what he's upset about.
Tennessee throwing when they were up as much as they were.
I mean, he had a third-string quarterback in.
Some coaches still get mad about that, and he's exactly the kind of coach who would get mad about something like that. And look, I'll tell you, I mean, Josh Heupel, especially if they get to the point where they're really winning, he is going to be one of those hated coaches.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he does not give a bleep, and he'll take a shot on anybody at any time. And Eli Drinkwitz, I'm sure, remembers the shots Tennessee took on them last year.
Oh, yeah.
You got 2 of the, I'd say probably, it's hard. You can't be, you can't be as hated when you're not great. But, I'd say these 2 coaches, pretty disliked by their peers in this league coming up. And I would say dislike each other pretty well, too. So looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt just, I mean, it's, they actually hung it. They actually, again, made a run, and they had a chance, and then, had a chance to get it to 1-score game and didn't. But just just not good enough, I mean, there's some things that you like. Langston Patterson's running around making plays. I mean, I thought Ken Seals had some really good plays, but just not nearly enough.
I will say, and I agree with you. I mean, he wasn't very good from Vanderbilt again. I was at an establishment where I saw quite a bit of South Carolina, Jacksonville State. Vanderbilt's got a chance against South Carolina coming up this weekend.
Maybe.
South Carolina's not good.
Did you see, Shane Beamer's?
Yes, I did.
I know you saw that as post-game.
I did.
I mean, I kind of agree with what he said. Basically, for people who didn't see, like, we are going to celebrate the heck. We danced, we had a blast. Every win. I mean, he is right that you get 12 days a year to play football. So if you win, then that's good. But, yeah, maybe you're right.
Butch Jones comes out more and more every week with that guy.
And Butch, won a game
and he did.
And scolded his fans. So, but
sure, that'll go over well.
Yeah, look, I think Vanderbilt might have a chance. They might have a chance at South Carolina.
What'd you think of Bama LSU? Alabama wins 42-28. It looked for a while like nobody was going to be able to stop the other team in that game, and then Alabama put together a couple stops in a row. Jaden Daniels goes down with the injury, and that was it after that. But LSU's defense is just very bad.
Very bad. And I think what we're also seeing, yeah, for sure, there's a bad defense. That's consistent. But what we're seeing with Milroe is he's kind of found that balance of, because he's worked so hard on being a pocket passer and not leaning on running and like doing all the things of a quarterback. Now that he's kind of got both things going, like when he puts his foot in the ground and accelerates, it's like
he's good.
Whoa.
Yeah. And
I tell you what, he's becoming a football player. He's becoming a really good player. So Bama, they might win the SEC.
They might.
Which is wild. And at the same time, on the other TV, I'm watching Washington USC, the last stand of Alex Grinch, who's fired.
Yes.
Boy, I tell you, that was fun, too. That was a lot of fun. It's not fun if you're a USC fan. Like their running back, who's really good, but still, had 195 yards before contact in that game. So Michael Penix remains the Heisman leader, I think.
I think you're right about that. And, Joe, finally, the Preds not only beat the Edmonton Oilers, which has not happened very often lately. Leon Draisaitl, 0 points against the Nashville Predators, which, if you look at his recent stat line against Nashville, is a modern-day miracle. Preds win in Edmonton, and Draisaitl with no points.
And Ryan O'Reilly has a hat trick.
If
you picked those two guys and said one of them will have a hat trick in this game, who would you pick? Yeah, how about that? Maybe this is going to be like, Pekka Rinne dominated them forever, and all of a sudden they just started getting destroyed. Maybe Draisaitl's about to have a drought cycle.
Ofer. Wow. Look at you.
6 a.m.
Ofer 15 for the next game. So not gonna have a point.
Nick gives me a boo.
O'Reilly with a hat trick. Preds back in action tomorrow as they take on Calgary. So an extended stay in Calgary for the Predators the last few days. Saw a lot of the staff out there at Banff yesterday and like Lake Louise and all that.
No.
A lot of snow already up there.
Yeah. But you know what? This is not, of all the times to go out there.
That's true.
Not early November, absolutely can be better.
615-737-1025, our phone number. We are off and running this morning on Robby and Rexrode. Coming up next, a very interesting report over the weekend from the Boston Globe regarding Mike Vrabel and what his future could look like. We'll get into all that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
He breaks down every game.
The players are still going to be fine.
And knows the ins and outs of the two-tone blue.
They deal with their own position coaches.
He is ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter Teron Davenport.
It's clear what he's doing.
TD joins every Monday at 1, Thursdays at 3, Friday mornings at 8, and anytime on the Talkin' with TD podcast.
I think that's really cool how he could show both sides.
TD is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and The Game Nashville app.
In 1972, a Nashville family business story began when Bill and Beverly Finley founded Volunteer Hose and Gasket. 3 generations have grown the business into the local industry leader supplying just about anything to anybody, from the largest of contractors to your neighbor that mows his own yard. Over 1 million items in stock: belts, belting accessories, gaskets, gauges, hose fittings, hydraulics, industrial hoses, lubricants, sealing products, tubing, fire protection, and more. All at volunteerhose.net. If Volunteer Hose and Gasket doesn't have it, then you probably don't need it. Call them at 615-242-0461.
Green Day present the Saviors Tour. Live in Nashville.
Welcome to
Geodes Park, Friday, August 30th. Celebrating 30 years of Dookie and 20 years of American Idiot. Green Day with the Smashing Pumpkins, Rancid, and the Linda Lindas. Pre-sale for City Card members begins Tuesday at 10 a.m. at LiveNation.com. Green Day, the Saviors Tour, fueled by Monster Energy.
Experience the thrill of gaming glory at Harrah's Casino and Hotel, just a little over 2 hours northwest of Nashville off I-24. Call 1-800-HARRAHS and reserve your room today to indulge in top-tier casino gaming, appetizing dining experiences, and their cutting-edge sports book. As a Caesar Rewards destination, every moment you spend at Harrah's Metropolis earns you points across the entire Caesars empire. It's your time to win with Harrah's Metropolis. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-BETS-OFF.
Penalty Box Radio Live is back. Join Alex Doherty and Sean Smith every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. for a full hour of local hockey talk, full analysis of the Nashville Predators. Honest hockey talk like you've come to expect from the Penalty Box Radio brand over the years. Penalty Box Radio is back home on 102.5 The Game for the 2023-2024 hockey season. For more, check them out at penaltyboxradio.com.
Fast-paced health provides easy access to quality care close to home. The streets you live on are the streets we live on. We're part of the baseball games and Main Street parades. Your community is our community, and it's our mission to provide you with quick, convenient, and affordable health care. We're here for the injuries and illnesses, the preventative treatments, the chronic conditions, and so much more. Fast-paced health.
2 new locations, Antioch and Mount Juliet.
Today, football is a game of sound. What if you couldn't hear your coach's play calls? What if you couldn't hear the referee's whistle? For deaf and hard of hearing athletes like me, these what-ifs are a reality. But with the AT&T 5G helmet, now we can see play calls just like the other teams hear them.
Connect the player, change the game. Learn more at att.com/5G helmet. Connecting changes everything. AT&T. AT&T is a proud supporter of the Gallaudet Bison AT&T 5G helmet, not for sale.
We try to stay cool by being on social media.
I'm with it. I'm hip.
Follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game and on Instagram at 1025 The Game Nashville.
Hey!
Oh, yeah, and like us on Facebook, too. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode on 1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 1025, 1063 The Game. We are live from our 1025 The Game studio, brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Joe, one game we did not get to yesterday was the Commanders and the Patriots. The Commanders win, 20-17, the final score. So the Patriots are terrible, just absolutely terrible. I think they're 2-7.
2-7, yeah.
2-7 for the New England Patriots. So it's looking more and more like the end of the road is coming for Bill Belichick in New England. And we've talked a lot about the noise around that and what that could look like. This came out from the Boston Globe on Friday. So this was before the game between Washington and New England. And it was just kind of talking about Belichick, the way things are going right now, different options that could be on the table at the end of the year. There's chatter out there about Washington, like if they fired Ron Rivera at the end of the year, would they want to trade for Bill Belichick? All these different things. So in this piece that Ben Volen put together at the Boston Globe, talks about like what happens if Belichick is gone, whether that's via trade or they fire him or they move on or whatever it is. And Mike Vrabel's name comes up, and I'll just read a snippet from this piece in the Boston Globe. Two sources close to the Patriots have independently said the same thing. They believe Vrabel, currently the Titans coach, is Kraft's home run choice to succeed Belichick. Vrabel was coach of the year in 2021, went to the playoffs 3 of the first 5 seasons, took the Titans to the 2020 AFC title game, which included the playoff win against Tom Brady. Vrabel has the cachet of being a former player, has proven he can win big games. The report of Belichick's contract conveniently came out at the same day Kraft's feted Vrabel at Gillette Stadium, inviting the Titans coach to sit with them in the owner's box for the Patriots-Bills game. Goes on to talk about, there's a lot here, but goes on to talk about kind of the dynamic between Vrabel and Carthon. Will Levis is now in there, and maybe they've got the quarterback of the future, but also says that, obviously when Belichick was acquired by the Patriots, Robert Kraft had to trade to get him. There is some symbolism with the Krafts, who also paid a first-round pick for Belichick in the year 2000, so maybe that would be the route that they would have to go again. Obviously, if they were going to get Vrabel, it would have to be via trade. But apparently that is the, quote, home run hire, according to two different sources from Ben Volen for Robert Kraft. What do you think of all that?
Well, I'm not terribly surprised. I'm not terribly surprised to hear all that. Obviously, he's a revered figure. He's a successful coach. I think Vrabel, in terms like the perception around the league of Vrabel, especially right now because this season has been so disappointing, probably a little bit brighter than it is here with people who maybe I'm going off like what I'm hearing from fans. I mean, there's reaction on the text line right now to that effect, that there's some fatigue maybe around here, and obviously everybody gets fatigued with losing, probably no one more than him, but yep. I'm not surprised by that. I mean, I think, look, Ohio State, the same thing. I mean, at least it was. I mean, I have no idea with Ohio State. I mean, I know they're too busy, like, hiring, Secret Service agents to follow Connor Stallions or whatever.
Fend off signal stealers, yes.
Yeah, so that whole thing. But I mean, that's two places that I think, that would make sense for him, and it would be going home for him. So, sometimes that stuff is overrated and almost like it's not necessarily a good idea, but sometimes it works out.
Well, we talked about it when the Titans were on their bye week and he went up and did all the stuff. I think a lot of the conversation around what Vrabel said there was overblown a little bit in terms of just the reaction to it that we saw.
Yeah, the idea that he was actually taking a shot at Tennessee was
right.
Stupid.
Yes. I thought a lot of that was overblown. Now, one thing that is interesting that we talked about, and it's difficult to come up with comparisons just because it doesn't happen very often, but one thing we did say was, like, how often has the head coach of another NFL franchise been sitting in the owner suite with an owner with a team that is not very good and very well could be moving on from their coach at the end of the year? I mean, I can't recall any situation where that's happened just because, I mean, the Vrabel dynamic of how good a player he was and being a coach is not one we see.
Who are the greatest players who are NFL coaches? I mean, obviously, like Singletary, who was a bad NFL coach.
Right. I mean,
who else you got? I mean,
Harbaugh was
a decent quarterback.
It's not a ton.
Yeah, it's just a weird. Yeah, again, that's why usually when you have success in this league, you don't want to sign up for the grind of coaching. But
right.
He did.
So that part of it has always been interesting. I'm with you. Like, it doesn't surprise me that apparently Robert Kraft, if they did move on from Belichick, would want Vrabel. Like, that part of it doesn't surprise me. I guess my question after reading all this is, like, do we think there's an increased chance that this actually happens at some point? Because it's one thing for Robert Kraft to want him. It's another thing to do it. Like, if you're the Titans, it requires, okay, we're not doing that. You're saying no to the trade. Or how much does Robert Kraft really want him? Like, what are you offering if you're the Patriots? I think that part of it's really interesting. But, like, does this change your view, this report from the Boston Globe, of the likelihood in your mind that this ends up happening one day with Vrabel to the Patriots?
Well, I mean, look, the answer, it comes down to Amy, right? Amy Adams-Strunk and what she thinks of Vrabel. I mean, by all indications, she thinks a lot of Vrabel and would not want to give up her coach. I suppose it also, it's like everything over there, everything in that building. Like, how's he feeling about things? Because, people can have honest discussions. I mean, just like I think Belichick, however that ends, it'll be like some sort of, like he'll still be in the organization or something, right? Like, they're not going to fire him.
Unless he wants to keep coaching. Yeah.
Well, that's true. Unless he wants to go somewhere else. But, I think that I think some of this is going to come down to this season, even in terms of, like, could this actually turn into a possibility? I mean, right now, my guess would be that Amy Adams-Strunk would be like, hey, I'm sure you would like him. Go find your own coach. We've got a coach.
Right.
Again, I'm seeing from fans like, I mean, I got Mike here saying trade him for a 5th or a 6th. Mike sucks. He couldn't call the hospital. Okay. Fans are upset, man, but
A 5th or 6th.
at the risk of, being labeled whatever, like Vrabologists?
That's pretty good.
Vrabologists?
Yeah.
Are we Vrabologists? At the risk of that, I would advise you to be careful what you wish for, because first round picks are nice, and that is. I mean, it's something like that, right? Like you probably could get a first round pick, trade him to the
Probably
Patriots.
get a little bit more. Yeah,
you might get a little bit more, but it is important to have a coach.
it is.
It's important to have a good coach, and it's not just like snap your fingers and hey, there's another good coach. Sure, that'll work out.
Well, here's another one. Like I was joking about this last week, but maybe it's not a joke. Like is Vrabel trading himself if he's got final say? What's the price if Vrabel's trading himself and he's deciding what the trade compensation?
Yeah, it depends on how he
like?
feels. Yeah, it depends on how he feels about everybody here. I mean, Coy in Clarksville says the Patriots can have him for a first. Mike Vrabel is not a leader of men. Real leaders know how to admit when they're wrong. Stop saying he's a leader of men, because ego-driven people aren't leaders; they are individuals. Jeez.
Okay.
Got some harsh takes on the Vrabster here. I guess this is a Vrabologist show. Yeah, look, I mean, if you don't think that someone can be a leader of people and also have an ego, yeah. I mean, look, you do have to be selfless at times and care about other people.
Sure.
I think what happens with Vrabel, first of all, when anybody loses, as we know, like Clark Lee, super nice guy, but he's losing, so he's bumbling goofball. I mean, Josh Heupel earlier in the year, they look a little clueless against Florida and stuff, but now they look like they're good again. So now it's like, it's like if your traits get good or bad as your results go. I would encourage everyone to remember that, like, what Vrabel does at press conferences does not mean that's how he acts all day behind the scenes.
Correct.
You know what I mean? He has actual conversations with other human beings and seems to have an idea of what he's doing. But the front-facing part of him, in tandem with the losing, I think, makes it so some fans are just fatigued.
Yeah. So the Boston Globe has put it out there that, according to a couple of sources, Mike Vrabel would be considered a home run hire replacement for Bill Belichick if the Patriots end up moving on from him at the end of the year. What do you think of that? What do you think of the chances that that happens at some point? And how do you feel about Mike Vrabel right now if you're a Titans fan? What's the temperature of Vrabel with this fan base? We'll get into all that coming up. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. It's getting colder quickly, and a lot of you are probably firing up the heater for the first time this season. If your system is older or having lots of issues keeping your home warm already, it's probably time for an HVAC replacement. There's no better time to replace your system than right now. Hiller is having their biggest sale ever on select HVAC systems. Get up to $2,600 off a new system until November 15th. This is the biggest discount they've had in years. That's Hiller. Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Actor Portrayal, based on a real patient experience.
I'm Mike. I'm a husband, proud father of 2, work my butt off 6 days a week, some nights too. When my family or my company needs me to make it happen, I make it happen. But a few months ago, I started having trouble making it happen, in the bedroom. I tried some pills online, but they didn't work. Honestly, I thought about throwing in the towel on my sex life, but I'm not that old. I still want to enjoy intimacy with my wife. Like that poet said, I don't want to just go gently into that good night. So I went to the Tennessee Men's Clinic in Franklin. Got some lab work done, was prescribed some meds, and wow, it made it happen. I can't say enough about them. Their providers took care of me, followed up, and made sure I had a treatment plan that actually works. It's awesome. If I were you, and you're like me, I'd give them a call today, 615-208-9090, or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. If you're like most guys, they'll make it happen for you too.
Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments extra. Results vary.
Some people just know the perfect time to hit the concession stand. Those are the people who know to choose Allstate.
Woo! Nice! I never miss a touchdown. Want a bite?
Yeah, he knows he's got a sixth sense for a snack break. Just like he knows that switching to Allstate can save drivers $468.
Saving $468 is based on the national average annual savings for new auto customers surveyed in 2022 who switched to Allstate. Prices may vary based on how you buy. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Some people just know that a perfect football field is all about the details. Those are the people who know to choose Allstate. Take the head groundskeeper, for example.
Hands at 10 and 2. 90-degree turns, perfect stripes every time.
He knows, because he's done this 100 times. Just like he knows that paying attention on the road can save safe drivers 40% with Allstate.
Saving 40% is based on the national average premium savings for Allstate auto customers with a clean driving record versus those without. Savings vary by state and based on how you buy. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected performance, and place your entry. You could turn $10 into $250. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Visit prizepicks.com/play now and use code PLAYNOW. That's code PLAYNOW at prizepicks.com/play now. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
One is a legendary NFL wide receiver.
I gotta be prepared. I have to be ready.
One is a legendary Nashville voice.
You don't have to rely on carrying the ball 250 to 300 times.
And the other has been a legendary trash talker on the playground since the 4th grade.
Nobody is a Pro Bowler on day 1 of rookie minicamp.
They are Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. Weekdays at 11 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Jordan Rogers, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 The Game.
Tune into 93.3 Classic Hits tonight for MTSU men's basketball. The Blue Raiders will start their season tonight at home against Northern Kentucky. Pregame beginning at 7 o'clock. Tip-off at 7:30. Coverage also available on the 93.3 Classic app and at 93.3classichits.com. College hoop season. Joe Rexrode's the arms are standing up on his hair, just talking about it over. He's ready.
Yeah, we haven't celebrated that nearly enough. Very exciting. Happy college hoop season, everybody. I think Vanderbilt's women's team plays at like 11 today, 11:30 at home.
It's a big day.
So there we go.
Big day. No
started.
question about it. Taking your thoughts on Mike Vrabel on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Again, the Boston Globe putting it out there. Quote, this from Ben Volen. 2 sources close to the Patriots have independently said the same thing. They believe Mike Vrabel, currently the Titans coach, is Robert Kraft's home run choice to succeed Bill Belichick. Taking your thoughts on that, 615-737-1025. Trevor on the text line says Vrabel outcoached Belichick in the playoffs. Take him away and start Levis's career with instability and ruin the kid. And who are they getting? That's another get another Ken Wisenhunt in there, and then all these fans would be crying and wishing they still had Mike Vrabel. This is from Trevor on the text line.
Yep. No, I mean, it's a good point. LD says from McMinnville on the text line with Robby and Rexrode says, if fans are concerned about the Titans ruining Levis, a coaching change would definitely be a starter. Now, I know some people are going to say, why do you think Vrabel, can develop a quarterback? Again, Vrabel specifically, personally, is not. But I would ask people this, too. Do you like what you've seen in 2 games from Will Levis? Now, I know someone could counter that and say, well, I don't like what I see from Malik Willis. Like, well,
yeah.
I mean, he's gotten better, too. But I feel like, Levis – being as ready as he has been, I think you probably want to give some credit to Charles London and to Tim Kelly on that.
Well,
right?
As far as like the
Vrabel assistants
developing quarterback stuff, and we talked about that, like he's not had a chance to yet. I mean, Malik Willis. Look, guys, they drafted Malik Willis in the 3rd round. He was nowhere near ready to play an NFL game his rookie year, and look, he's gotten better, but he's not a starting NFL quarterback.
No,
so I don't know that I hold that one against Vrabel for not developing a quarterback.
No. I mean, again, like, let's throw me out there.
Right.
And I'll suck, and so let's blame Vrabel.
Right.
So it's definitely something to keep in mind, like instability. Now, look, it doesn't mean – I mean, I know, and I've heard this from several people, who look at this league and say, the way to success is to have – an offensive head coach and even like, a play calling head coach. And there's a lot of success stories along those lines, but there are also plenty of not success stories along those lines, right?
Yep.
But, I mean, the trend has been very much the successful OCs, especially from certain trees, get head coaching jobs, and it's worked out. I mean, it's worked out pretty well. You know? I mean, I think McDaniel's pretty good.
Sirianni's pretty good.
Sirianni's pretty good. Zach Taylor's pretty good. You know? So, I get it. But, again, there are still defensive coaches in this league who, if you have good offensive assistants, you can, you know, you can have success. So, someone says a higher probability that ownership fires Vrabel before pulling off a trade for him. So I disagree with that. That's the thing. Like if you were Amy Adams Strunk and you wanted to move on, then I'd love this report.
That's the thing. That makes it less. I think this makes it less likely Vrabel gets fired if you're the Titans. I don't think it's likely to begin with, but
right now, yeah, because again, Amy gave John Robinson and Mike Vrabel 5-year extensions for a lot of money. You know, not long ago.
Right.
March of 22, right? March of 22. I think it was March of 22. So, and she, you know, fires John a few months later.
November of 22.
Yes. So now,
Didn't
look,
last very long.
I do agree. You know, so you're talking about paying someone not to work for you. I mean,
Yeah.
I do think that Vrabel gets scooped up, so that probably reduces that. But still, I mean, if you want to move on from him and you know this is out there, then you will be calling Robert Kraft too. And people talking about tampering, I mean, I don't think it's tampering, folks. Robert Kraft could talk to Mike Vrabel whenever he wants to talk to him. Tampering is such a – I mean, look, you violate certain rules like in free agency and the NBA and stuff like that, then that's what it is. But
well, also this is
look at how Sean McVay got his quarterback.
Also, this is a report from a news outlet. Like these are not quotes directly attributed to Robert Kraft.
Oh yeah, but I guess I took it as like the whole
thing,
Hall of Fame thing
Yeah.
and whatever. It's like I don't think that was like a ruse to get him in here and like, come on, Mike, have some desserts and champagne. Let's
put
talk.
Mike in the Patriots Hall of Fame so we can make him the head coach.
I mean, Vrabel absolutely should be in the Patriots Hall of Fame.
should.
I mean, you know. Yeah, look, I mean, so Jared from Spring Hill says it looks like there was more of a mission with that trip. Again, like Robert Kraft could talk to Vrabel when he wants to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Everybody has a bad phone.
I got a texter that says, I don't want Vrabel to go, but I do have to wonder how the situation will play out if Amy Adams Strunk wants Levis to play and Vrabel refuses to put him back in if Tannehill is healthy. It's from a texter on the text line. We're not going back to Will. Ryan Tannehill's healthy. He's the quarterback. That is going to be something that's interesting to watch this week.
Yeah, some interesting takes off that presser. I left it thinking, you know, Vrabel's he's certainly not going to announce anything to us before he talks to people.
Right.
I think Will Levis will start Sunday at Tampa Bay. Will Vrabel tell us that this week? I don't know. And maybe I'm wrong.
We don't even know if Tannehill's going to be healthy this week. That's the other thing.
Right. Exactly. So Vrabel, you know, he was asked a few different times. TD tried to ask him, you know, and Vrabel got a little snippy there.
He did.
But basically, I get it. Like when Tannehill's healthy, then they'll have that discussion. When is that this week? I don't know, but I don't think it matters. I think Will Levis is going to be the quarterback, and I think the fact that Vrabel said yet, I'm going to parse words on that one.
Yeah,
I think I take that as significant, but we'll see. You know, we'll see if he goes back to Tannehill, and then everybody's mad, and then all right, maybe they can trade him for a 3rd-round pick.
Ben from Cumberland City says, I'm a Colts fan, and I look forward to Vrabel leaving. Also, whether New England or anywhere, Vrabel will be hired right away if the Titans move on. That's from Ben from Cumberland City. That's the thing. Like, what would it take if you're Amy Adams Strunk to do this, right? Like, obviously she likes Mike Vrabel, okay? Now, can that opinion change over the next few months? Sure. I mean, absolutely. It could change, and she could feel like maybe a change in leadership is needed at some point. I don't anticipate that happening this year, but we'll see. What would it take from the Patriots standpoint, from an offer, for Amy Adams Strunk to actually consider doing this? I mean, that's the question that I don't know. Like, is it a 1st-round pick? Is it a 1st-round pick and a 3rd-round pick? Like, what's the compensation coming back your way that makes you stop and consider this if you're Amy Adams Strunk and the Titans?
Yeah, I don't know. It's so much. Again, if you think about Vrabel, what a lot of people think about Vrabel, then it's a non-starter because you understand that. Absolutely, it's about players first in this league. Okay.
Yep.
But it's very easy to get bad coaching too, and to not maximize your players and all that. Look, I mean, there's fair conversations around Vrabel, including like, is Vrabel the type of guy who does have a shelf life with his voice and his approach and all that stuff? I think it's a fair question to have. As someone pointed out, he lost? 12 of 15? Is that right? 12 of 15, hasn't won a road game forever. All that's all fair. It's all true. So what's the cause? Is it him? Is it his voice fading? Is it his bad coaching? Is it that he has one of the least talented rosters right now in the NFL?
I lean more towards that.
I would lean more towards that too. But look, when the results are bad, then I think everything can be fairly discussed. But Jared, on the whole tampering thing, again, like, it's not like, I mean, even if they're tampering with Vrabel, he doesn't have the power in this situation anyway. Who cares? He can say, yeah, I love my Patriots. Trade me.
Right.
Because I met with Robert Kraft. Trade me. Yeah. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's not him who, like, you can tamper with Vrabel all you want, and Amy Adams-Strunk can say, Mike, play Will this weekend and bring me a coffee. Thank you.
Well, here's the other thing. Beyond the obvious of the relationship there, because clearly there is a relationship between Vrabel and Robert Kraft and the Patriots. We know this. So beyond that, like, would Vrabel have any interest in going there based on, number one, what their roster looks like right now? They don't have a quarterback. I mean, Mac Jones is not going to be their long-term answer at quarterback there. If you're him, it's been 2 games, so there's still more body of information to figure out here. But, like, if Will Levis hits and he looks like he's going to be pretty good, if I'm Vrabel, like, why would I want to leave that situation where you've got a very promising young quarterback to go to a place where the roster is not in good shape and you don't have a quarterback right now? I mean, unless, which they are at the moment, very bad. I guess unless you're bad enough to get a Caleb Williams or a Drake May, and maybe that changes your mind. But, like, that's a long way of me asking, like, would Vrabel actually have legitimate interest in going there beyond everybody just be like, well, he knows Robert Kraft really well.
Well, but see, I think you're looking at it short term, and I mean, it's got to be a long term. And the bottom line is,
long term
if
is
you
with
think
Will
Robert
Levis too, right?
Yes, but I think it's also with ownership. So if you think Robert Kraft's a great owner, and you, I mean, I heard Vrabel's speech. I did take out of it how much he reveres him and the organization.
Yeah.
And also, if you're over here, I mean, I don't think Vrabel power struggled John Robinson out of here. I think Vrabel was stunned that day that John Robinson was fired. So if you're here and you're starting and you're unsure about ownership and impulsiveness and all that stuff, and because long term, that is a huge part of a franchise having success. Even though everybody now wants to give every bit of credit to Tom Brady, I get it. Like, there's still a lot that goes into a successful franchise, and it starts at the top without question. Bad franchises, good franchises. Ownership is – so if he thinks Kraft is up here and Amy Adams-Strunk is down here, then maybe.
We'll take more of your thoughts on Mike Vrabel. 615-737-1025. The report from the Boston Globe that Vrabel is, quote, the home run for Robert Kraft to replace Bill Belichick if that day comes. What do you think of that? What do you make of the current temperature of the fan base with Mike Vrabel? Lots of people on the text line a little unhappy with Vrabel right now. We'll get into that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, live and local from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. When you want the national
Hey. I got this. I'll take it from here.
Okay, go ahead. Dying to hear this.
We have the best national voices that you'll find anywhere.
Who was more deserving of being thrown from their game? I'm odd, so I get the odd picks. They have a new coaching staff. It's not a bad scenario for them.
We are 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
And 94.9 The Fan.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal. And it's happening November 17th through 19th. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where they break all the rules. Plus, Genesis selection is nearly double. With designers flying in their entire collections. All on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Luxury pre-owned Rolexes included. Lab-grown diamonds on sale too. Save up to 35% and get zero interest financing. November 17th through 19th at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills, and Cool Springs.
Black Tap Craft Burgers and Beer is now open in downtown Nashville. Black Tap features award-winning craft burgers, wings, salads, and Instagram-famous Crazy Shake milkshakes with over 2 million sold worldwide. Since opening Black Tap Nashville, they've won the Nashville Scene Best of Nashville Readers Poll for Best Burger, Best New Bar, and Best New Restaurant, as well as Burger Week's Best Original Burger for their signature Tennessee burger. Go check out Black Tap, located downtown just off Broadway across from the Batman Building, and enjoy their culinary excellence of burgers, crazy shakes, and craft beer.
At the Home Depot, Saturdays are about two things: getting projects done right with Behr Premium Plus interior paint and football. That's right, Kirk Herbstreit. And with Behr's wall-to-wall coverage and long-lasting durable finish, you'll spend less time worrying about your walls, which means more time for football. For football. Upgrade your Saturday with Behr and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
If you're just tuning in, this is Fan 23, Fansville's #1 sports radio station.
Brought to you by Tasty Dr. Pepper.
We are settling the great debate, best third quarter snack, hot dogs or nachos?
You know my mantra, Doug.
Yes.
Meaty early, cheesy late.
Well, it looks like we have a caller here to weigh in. Is this Chuck?
Popcorn in the third is the move.
What?
You go with passive snacking after halftime.
No, it's nachos.
Look, as long as there's an ice cold Dr. Pepper there to wash it down, I'm good with either. Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Now you can get a Walmart Plus membership, plus not pay for it, because it's included with Straight Talk wireless plans. You get free delivery with Walmart Plus, plus a Paramount Plus subscription included. Plus, you pay less for gas. That's a lot of pluses.
Only Straight Talk gives you unlimited 5G data and Walmart Plus included on select plans for free.
Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Requires service on Gold or Platinum Unlimited. One offer per eligible account. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. Additional terms apply.
Coming on in for Maxers dispatching from Terry Crisp's beloved Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Stop 4 of 5 on the Predators' season-long 5-game road trip. Tuesday night, the Predators will play the Flames at 8 o'clock. Hal Gill and I will call the game with coverage starting at 7.
Your home for Smashville is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. You're locked into Robby and Rexrode.
I have the radio on. I'm listening to
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Tomorrow, it's your chance to participate in Preds Pick to Click. If you correctly guess a Preds player that scores a goal in the Preds game tomorrow night, you win a pair of tickets to an upcoming Preds home game. Participate with us tomorrow morning at 8:45. Pick to Click brought to you by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. List your home with TJ to get your home seen, heard, and sold. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode. Taking your thoughts on the Titans and Mike Vrabel. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. So, obviously, Joe, a lot of Titans fans that we've heard from this morning are upset with Vrabel. I think a lot of it has been the press conferences, honestly, the way that he's come across in the press conference. We talked about that before. When you're winning, oh, that's fine and great. When you're losing, people respond to that a little bit differently. I do look at this and go, like, if this ended up happening, and right now what I consider is like fantasy land, and he gets traded to the Patriots, what's the reaction from Titans fans like the next day? Is it, good, we just got a first-round pick, or is it, oh, my gosh, Vrabel's gone. How do you replace Mike Vrabel? What do you think the reaction is if he moves on at some point?
I think more Titans fans would not want it, would be unhappy with it. That's just my guess. Now, look, if I go by social media, that it may not look that way. I mean, even the text line, I'd say there's a little bit more, please get rid of him, and there's also some, dude, what? But I think there's always a, like a silent majority type thing and things like this. Because I'm with you. Right now, I still think it's a little bit more in the fantasy land area. But I think it would be mixed for sure. And look, tell me. I mean, in the meantime, there's going to be a whole bunch of football games.
Yeah.
I think. What's the coach trading deadline?
Is it the same as the player? I don't know. I assume it is.
There's a whole bunch of games ahead. Do the Titans win any? Do they look good? Do they turn around? Does Will Levis play? Does Will Levis look good? Does the future look bright? Does the future look grim? Does Vrabel, start asking me what I'm doing with my mouth when I'm trying to ask questions? I mean, who knows? Who knows where it might go? But shut your mouth. Stop moving your mouth.
Your mouth is it's moving too much when you're talking.
Yeah, but it's a week-to-week thing, and I guess coach approval rating is that too. Officer Watson from Clarksville brings up a good point, which is, I'm talking long-term ownership and everything. Well, Robert Kraft's 82, so
yep.
Does he is it Jonathan Kraft? Is that the heir apparent?
I guess.
Does Vrabel like him? Did he used to bring Vrabel Gatorades, back in the mid-2000s?
Maybe so. Here is another thing, and I don't know that Vrabel would view it this way, just because I think Vrabel is very competitive, and Vrabel, I think, has a lot of confidence in his coaching abilities. I think he should. But the guy before you did win 6 Super Bowls, right? And you were a part of them, so you know what all went into that, and obviously, there's a conversation around Brady, and I think I saw yesterday, Belichick's record without Brady is 81-97 or something like that. So it's not very good. But he did win 6 Super Bowls. Do you want to follow that up if you're Vrabel heading into replacing that guy? Whoever replaces Bill Belichick, whether it's Vrabel or whoever else, you're always going to be compared to Belichick and that run that they went on.
Yeah, but I do think that the way this has gone makes that less imposing. Doesn't
It's going to
it?
be about Brady.
Yeah, exactly. And fair or not, the perception battle of Belichick-Brady it's a blowout now, And it doesn't help that even again, Josh McDaniels has a chance to show that he should never get a head coaching job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's separate. But it's still the Belichick tree and
it's
all
all
that
part
stuff.
of it, though.
Yeah. I don't think
it's how many people did Brady make look great?
Yeah,
that's what the conversation is right now.
And again, even with that, it's not like it's Vrabel's choice anyway.
Right
now, behind the scenes, is in this fantasy land scenario, is there a conversation between Amy and Vrabel where it's just okay, what do you think? Hey, let's hash it out. And she actually is exploring trading him, and he, at that point he could probably say, no, I want to be here for my career and win Super Bowls here. No, the Titan way, not the Patriot way. And then if you're hurt, it's okay, that's it. That could affect this.
Sure.
If it gets to the point where there's actually a discussion and it's not just fantasy land. But look, Ben Volin's a very good reporter.
Yep.
He's got 2 sources in an organization who are putting it out there. So if you want to talk about tampering, this is some level of public tampering.
Right.
Letting it be known out there that Vrabel is an object of affection for the Patriots. And I don't think that the Hall of Fame thing is a offshoot of tampering. He deserves to be in the Patriots Hall of Fame. He's not going to be in the NFL Hall of Fame, although he could be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame as a coach, player. Right?
Yeah.
But he certainly, that was legitimate. But the whole thing does add up together to a whole lot of Vrabel Patriots love fest going on.
Well, and then there's the Belichick part of this. Obviously, I agree with you. If he doesn't go coach somewhere else, then they're going to Bill is taking a role in the front office, and he's going to be a senior advisor to whatever. Yeah. That's going to be what ends up happening with the Patriots here. I do wonder if you're him, he's not that far away from breaking Shula's all-time wins record. Does that factor in? Does he want to continue coaching? And does he want to do it somewhere else? He's been in New England for 20 years at this point. How much does he want to continue to coach and maybe chase down that record if you're him?
No, it's an interesting – and I wouldn't be – because, look, if you're him, like it or not, and, Belichick's a great coach. Again, if you closely watched all those years – Brady was a revelation and was excellent, but they were very much built around their defense, and it was very much team winning championships. It wasn't just Brady carrying everyone. It got to that more later, but the perception battle and the legacy and all that stuff for Belichick, it's taken a big hit, like it or not.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, frankly, that the biggest issue with him is that he's a bad GM, and he's a good example of why you shouldn't have someone with that much power, because how could you do both jobs well? I mean, I understand he has a whole staff of people working on personnel, but obviously their drafts and everything have been awful. So that's a bigger story. That's hurting him as a coach, Bottom line is, yeah, I could see him still wanting to possibly go somewhere else and coach and continue. So that would be, then he'd be out of there.
You trade Belichick to Washington for a first-rounder, and then you flip that first-rounder to the Titans, pick up Vrabel.
Yeah.
That could be the way it goes.
There you go. There's so many ways this could go.
It's good.
Santa in Portland, I do want to. So there's been a lot of ripping Vrabel. Santa in Portland says blaming Vrabel for this team's issues, a couple years removed from Coach of the Year award, is like blaming garbage on flies. He's forced to make lemonade without lemons, water, sugar, or anything to pour it out of or into.
Nice.
So, but there are people who there's the other side of this, and I think this is definitely a careful what you wish for kind of thing.
Yeah.
All these players yesterday used to play for the Titans, all over the league yesterday. Jonnu Smith is out racing a whole defense for a touchdown, and I'm seeing Dupree make huge, all the Eagles guys. So imagine Titans fans.
Josh Dobbs.
That is true. He is a former Titan.
He is.
I mean, that stint here probably helped that happen, right?
Probably did.
So just be careful what you wish for, and watching Vrabel hold up the Lombardi somewhere else.
615-737-1025, our phone number. We'll get back into this a little bit later in the show. We'll get Corey Curtis's thoughts on the Vrabel stuff with New England at 8 o'clock. We'll revisit that as well. Take your thoughts on our phone and text lines. Coming up next, is the AFC South about to be a division loaded with great quarterbacks? We'll get into that. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Every day we are live and local.
You need to give Ryan Tannehill a 2-year extension.
There haven't been too many coaching changes for the Predators.
And your source for Nashville sports.
I think that's what the Titans need.
Players who can score.
We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and The Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
It's the Electronic Express Black Friday Savings Marathon. Every Sunday means hot new deals. Get the gifts you want and save up to 50% throughout the entire store. Get the Samsung 75-inch 4K TV, only $649, plus other hot deals. At Electronic Express, dream big, pay small with up to 36 months free financing on items like a Samsung French door refrigerator, only $13.99, or an Acer laptop, now only $199. Shop the Black Friday Savings Marathon at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Yo, check this out.
Ah, Porvu. Imagine a wonderland, vast as the eye can see. We're talking a whopping 10,000 square feet, stocked with wine, spirits, and over 1,500 beers from around the globe. And if that's not enough, they've got you covered with a massive horde of ready-to-guzzle cocktails like High Noon.
Well, saddle up, partner. It's Porvu, the adult equivalent of a candy store. Open from 9 to 9 Monday through Saturday and from 10 to 6 on Sundays, too. Not leaving your sofa during the next big game? No worries, my jersey-wearing couch potato. You can place your orders at porfood.us or download their super snazzy app.
Just picture hockey night. He shoots, he scores, we toast.
We're talking about a good old round of tequila shots, of course.
Tequila!
Porvu has it all. Tequila is always a big hit, just like Uncle Frank at the family parties.
Wine, spirits, beers, mixers, barware, gifts, party supplies, and more.
Curbside pickup at absolutely zero charge, mind you, and home delivery.
Indian Lake Boulevard in Hendersonville, just off Vietnam Vets, exit 7.
Porvu. It's all Frenchy and fancy, meaning for you.
Score!
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected performance, and place your entry. You could turn $10 into $250. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Visit prizepicks.com/playnow and use code PLAYNOW. That's code PLAYNOW at prizepicks.com/playnow. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Now, your Game Center update.
This is Nick Keiser. The Minnesota Vikings found a way to get their 5th win of the season with new quarterback Josh Dobbs stepping in after Jaron Hall exited in the first quarter. Dobbs threw for 2 touchdowns in the win and 158 yards. Here's what he had to say in front of his new teammates after the win.
As they say, it's a team win. I couldn't do it without teammates, offense, defense, special team, coaches, shoot, Grant, spending 5 extra hours with me on Friday going through walkthrough. And I'm thankful to be here. I'm excited, man. We'll enjoy this one. Well, as they all say, cheers to the next one.
And in his first game as an interim head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, Antonio Pierce defeated his former team, the New York Giants, 30-6 after the Raiders fired both their GM and head coach 5 days ago. Quarterback Daniel Jones was injured in the first half and is feared to have suffered a knee injury. Pending an MRI, he may have suffered an ACL injury. And coming up at 7:30, the Athletics' David Ubben is set to join Robby and Rexrode to discuss all the latest headlines in college football. You're listening to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
79-52 Vanderbilt.
I think he's got a coach
shot by Cheryl.
You're going to see more moves. The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Nick Keiser here with you on this Monday morning. We'll have David Ubben from The Athletic coming up at 7:30. We'll get into a little college football with him. Looking forward to that. Corey Curtis for his weekly visit coming up at 8 o'clock, talking all things Titans. Taking your thoughts in the meantime, 615-737-1025. So, Joe, obviously no Titans game yesterday. I'm sitting around, and I'm watching C.J. Stroud slinging around all over the field yesterday, and he throws for 5 touchdowns, and it did get the wheels turning a little bit. I'm like, wow. So Trevor Lawrence is already in the division, and he's had a good season. He's not been great, but he's had a good season. He's got a 68% completion percentage, 1,935 yards, 7-1 an attempt, 9 touchdowns, 4 picks. So he's been good to this point. C.J. Stroud has been excellent in his rookie year. We have a very limited sample size of Anthony Richardson. I would call it up and down. Had some moments where he looked really good. Had some moments where it wasn't so good. And we have 2 games worth of a sample size from Will Levis, most of which I think has been overwhelmingly positive to this point. I did think about the future of this division as they move forward here over the next few years. Is the AFC South about to turn into a division where there's just really good quarterbacks across the board? And I know right now it's impossible to definitively answer that question. We just don't know enough about Richardson yet. I mean, heck, we don't know enough about Levis yet. We really don't even know enough about Stroud yet, even though the early returns on him have been really, really good to this point. I mean, we're starting to get to the point where it's like, okay, that guy's got something. But you can see it with all these guys. You can see it with Stroud. You can see it with Levis through 2 games. Richardson made some plays before he got hurt that I thought were really impressive. And Lawrence, I don't know that Lawrence is ever going to be one of those elite guys. Is he going to be Burrow?
Tier 1.
Is he going to be tier 1? Maybe, maybe not. But I think he's good. So is this about to be a division where the quarterback play is at a pretty high level for the foreseeable future? And if so, what does that mean for the division? What does it mean for the Titans as you try to kind of weave your way through a division with loaded quarterback play?
That's a great question. The thing is, I would say Lawrence right now has a chance to be a strong tier 2 quarterback, and that's still more than I could say for any of the other 3 because it's just too early. But Stroud looks fantastic. Levis, way more good than bad. Really encouraging, and I think Richardson very encouraging too. The Richardson, obviously a big story around him is how do you lean into what he does so well and not get him hurt?
Right.
Because early on, obviously he's getting hurt, but. Yeah, this division could be stabilized at that position for the long term, and they could all be really good. You go around through any of the other divisions, and there's at least one team that has major question, and even like long term. I mean, the Patriots obviously, but like even the Jets long term. What's the in the North? You got Pickett. I don't know. I'm not sure on Watson either. The West, you get the Broncos and the Raiders. I mean, you go through. There's not another division. The Giants, they just paid Daniel Jones. Oh boy.
Yep.
I guess the Commanders think Sam Howell is their guy.
He's been okay.
So
Yep.
I mean, he's been, but I mean, the North, what are the Bears going to do? I don't know. Is Jordan Love? Is he?
Corey Curtis.
He just won.
Just tweeted this and goes, NFC North, Bajent, Love, Dobbs, Goff. Get excited.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, like, who's the Vikings quarterback of the future? Who's the Falcons quarterback of the future?
Yeah.
I mean, who's the Bucs quarterback of the future? Who's the Cardinals quarterback of the future? Go through all the divisions, and there's at least one team, and in a lot of cases, multiple teams that don't have an answer. And the AFC South is the only division, if you go through it right now, where I'm pretty confident in saying, well, it's hard to put a timeline on it, but I'm pretty confident in saying, like, for the next few years, I'm pretty confident in saying that. For the next few years, we know the 4 quarterbacks. You can't say that about any other division.
I'd say that's accurate.
I know it's 2 games of Levis, but those 2 games, they've given him next year.
For sure.
So, I'm pretty confident. I mean, he'd be the one, I guess, question, because obviously Stroud and Richardson are super high picks, and that, but I think it's pretty clear.
And some of it's just circumstance, right? Like, how often in the past has one division had 3 quarterbacks drafted really high, like we just saw with Stroud, Richardson, and Levis? Like, it probably hasn't happened a ton. And then, look, Lawrence is the seasoned veteran here, and what's he, 24, 25 years old? Like, it's a really young division or young quarterback play in this division. And look, if things go really well for all of them, these could be the 4 quarterbacks for the next 10 years in the division.
Could be.
It's hard for me to get there now just because so much can happen in the league. And again, it's such a short sample size with Stroud and Levis and Richardson. But, like, if you're a Texans fan today, you got to be thrilled with the way that he's – like, John McClain was on Twitter yesterday, and he called that one of the greatest performances he's ever seen covering the league. And that guy's covered the league for a long time. When you think about the no field goal kicker, they basically had no running game yesterday, and he threw for 470 yards and 5 touchdowns. That's a heck of a day for C.J. Stroud. So if you're a Texans fan, you're just excited as all get out today. Titans, I don't know how you couldn't be encouraged by what you've seen from Levis through the first 2 weeks. And the Richardson one is interesting because you are concerned about, like, is he going to be able to stay healthy with the way that he plays the game? But there's no denying the arm talent. There's no denying the physical ability. And honestly, when he was playing this year, he looked better than I thought he would stepping into the league this year.
Right.
So,
that was the whole thing. Is like, well, he needs one more year in college.
Right.
I don't know that I'm going to say that too often anymore.
Yeah.
Because, like, you can figure – again, good coaching is part of it too. You can figure it out. If someone's good enough, you can figure out a way to get them up to speed pretty quickly.
So there's been really positive signs from all of them to this point, which, that rarely does that happen. We talked about in the draft process, right? Like, of Stroud, Richardson, Levis, Hooker, Bryce Young. What are the chances that all those guys work out? Not very high. What are the chances that 2 of those guys work out? In some cases, not very high.
What does work out mean?
Exactly.
Like, Trevor Lawrence, honestly, Trevor Lawrence is drafted to be a generational quarterback.
Correct.
I don't know that that's on the table here.
The Prince Who Was Promised, his nickname on Football Reference.
There you go. God, that's hilarious.
I need people to start calling him that.
He does look just like what's his name in Shrek 2.
He does.
So what is that working out? To me, it's like if he's really good and you win a championship, yes,
right,
that's working out. Now, he may not be number 1 pick. Like, Burrow is going to be number 1 pick guy,
Like, yeah, do we think, are Jags fans frustrated with, like, the way that Lawrence has played? Or are they waiting for, like, the next level to get there? Because, again, like, the numbers this year, I've watched him, he's been fine.
He's good.
He's not been elite.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, but he's winning too.
Right.
So, and that's I mean, like Dustin sitting here saying he's fourth. Like, well, let's take it easy. I don't know what Levis is going to be.
Yeah.
I don't know what Richardson's going to be. And, I mean, Stroud, incredible start. I mean, at some point you pay attention. Again, the week earlier against the Panthers, he was not good. So, like, you got to, sometimes people can get hot in a given day. I mean, I'm very encouraged with Stroud. Don't get me wrong. And I feel like my thoughts on him going to the draft are gonna look silly. But I also wasn't super high on Levis going to the draft. And right now I'm already thinking, boy, yep.
C.J. Stroud,
he's got it.
By the way, just on the season to this point, 62% completion percentage, 2,270 yards, 8-1 an attempt, 14 touchdowns, 1 pick. 14-1 touchdown interception ratio right now.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Well, and look, you also do give credit there, and you do. We've been talking about coaching trees and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I think D'Amico Ryans was a heck of a hire, and also that they translate that, they bring that San Fran offense over, the Shanahan offense. He's with Shanahan, and Kyle Shanahan clearly has a feel for offense that works and that helps quarterbacks be very efficient.
Yeah, I mean he's throwing for 283 yards a game right now. Quarterback rating of 102.9. I mean he's been excellent to this point,
no doubt.
So, is that what he is? Is there a rookie wall or a regression, whatever you want to call it? Is that coming at some point for C.J. Stroud? That's you're right in saying, we talked about this to begin the show. Like, his receivers have been way better than I thought they would be. I'm still not convinced he's got some great receiving talent around him, but they've been better than I thought they would be.
Yeah, like Tank Dell is good.
He's pretty darn good.
A very good pick.
He is.
We talked about Tank Dell with the Titans.
Sure.
Going into the draft. But yeah, it's not the Eagles.
No, I mean he looks like he is elevating players around him, which that's what you want from your quarterback. And we're going to get more information on Levis as we go here, right? That's the one. I mean, I guess if you're a Titans fan, you probably don't view it this way, but just as if you're the Colts sitting here today, that's what makes it really unfortunate is now the Titans are getting some information on their young guy and seeing him play and watching him develop. Obviously, the Texans are. And with Richardson being done the rest of the year, you got a brief glimpse at it, and now you hope he gets healthy and you find a way to keep him healthy moving into next year. But if you're Levis, that's part of why it's so important that he does work out, not only from the timeline of where you're at from a roster standpoint with the salary cap money that you got heading into this offseason and the flexibility that would give you, but also your division. There is legit quarterback competition in your division that looks like it's going to be there for a while that you got to find a way to overcome if you're the Titans.
Yeah. But so it's exciting, but also, yeah, you got the level's got to be high for sure. By the way, Houston receiver, Dalton Schultz goes nuts.
Yeah, he did.
Tight end, 10 for 130. Tank Dell, 6 for 110 and 2 touchdowns. How about I totally forgot about Noah Brown, 7th round pick out of Ohio State a few years ago, by Dallas.
Yeah.
6 for 153 and a touchdown. That includes a 75-yarder. But what? Meanwhile, Nico Collins is still good, 3 for 54. They got John Mechie, by the way. Let's not forget they have him. He had 1 target, 1 catch.
Bobby Trees, he's there.
Yeah, did not register in the. So I don't know if he was hurt yesterday. But no, not a single target for him. I will say, Schultz has become.
He's pretty good.
That team is, they're ahead of the Titans, the last place Titans.
Yeah,
in the division, as are the Colts.
Tune in to 94.9 The Fan today for Vanderbilt women's basketball. The Commodores start their season today with a 10 a.m. tip-off at home against Kennesaw State. Pregame begins at 9:30. Coverage also available on the 94.9 The Fan app and at 949thefan.com. We'll continue the conversation on the AFC South, the quarterback play in the AFC South. Is this about to become a division with really good quarterback play for the foreseeable future? We'll take your thoughts on that. How does Will Levis and the Titans fit into that mold? 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5-106.3 The Game.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and last sale of the year is coming. November 17th through 19th. It's an extraordinary event with savings of 20, 30, up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets. Nothing's held back for this once-a-year, 3-day store-wide sale. Acclaimed designers will be flying in with expanded collections and special pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. Luxury pre-owned Rolexes are also included. Lab-grown diamonds, too. Discounts up to 35%. Genesis Diamond. November 17th through 19th only. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Mark your calendars, Nashville. This Veterans Day, step back in time at Centennial Park. The Kiwanis Club is hosting a World War I remembrance. Hear from historical architect Kem Hinton, Colonel Stephen Todd, and actress Jennifer O'Neill, a staunch veteran advocate. Join us at the Mother Monument November 11th at 1 p.m. Then, step back in time with a World War I reenactment camp by the 9th Kentucky Infantry Regiment. And don't forget, food trucks will be on site for your appetite. Remember, honor, celebrate. This Saturday, 1 p.m., join the Kiwanis Club of Nashville, a community pillar since 1916, for a Veterans Day celebration. Witness history come alive in Centennial Park. Don't miss it this November 11th. The Kiwanis Club, anchoring community, celebrating valor.
Vanderbilt Commodore fans, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, along with 94.9 The Fan, is your new home for broadcast of games and the Commodore Hour on Monday evenings. Catch all the action for football, men's and women's basketball, and baseball all season long. Go Doors!
When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a click away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts, tools, accessories, and supplies quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store, or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Dell's Black Friday event is their biggest sale of the year. Shop limited time deals on laptops like the stylish, innovative XPS 13, engineered to do it all on the Intel Evo platform. Plus, save big on ultra-sharp monitors and top brand accessories. It's the perfect time to upgrade any home, business, or gaming setup powered by Intel Core processors. Shop now at Dell.com/deals to take advantage of huge savings and free shipping. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
It's Wrangler season out there. T-shirt days, denim jacket nights. A pair of broken-in jeans you could live in. Open roads, endless horizons, no destinations. This is when adventure starts calling. And you need to be ready in jeans that are made for the unpredictable journey that we call life. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Want to weigh in on the conversation?
It's a brain booster.
Slide into our DMs. Or just text or call at 615-737-1025. Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. You're locked into Robby and Rexrode.
Every morning, first thing.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, live from our 102.5 The Game studio, brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Taking your thoughts, 615-737-1025. Got some tickets to give away. A 4-pack of tickets to MTSU football as the Blue Raiders take on FIU at Floyd Stadium this Saturday. Be caller number 3, 615-737-1025. Call number 3 will win a 4-pack of tickets to see MTSU take on FIU at Floyd Stadium this Saturday, 615-737-1025. Discussing the quarterback play in the AFC South. Will Levis impressive through 2 games? C.J. Stroud lighting it up so far early in his NFL career. And then there's Trevor Lawrence in the first-place Jags. Anthony Richardson with the Colts. Could this be a division that has really, really good quarterback play for the foreseeable future? Taking your thoughts on that. There have been some questions on the text line about C.J. Stroud. Remember that around draft time of the Titans reportedly trying to move up to go draft C.J. Stroud. They ended up with Will Levis through the process, but how do you think Titans fans are feeling about that one today with Levis and the way that Stroud has played?
Yep, there's the whole did the cat get out of the bag and influence others and how they acted. That'll maybe that can be a 30 for 30 someday.
Maybe.
And, so, the thing is, had Levis not played at this point, or had Levis played poorly in the last 2 games, I think people would be reacting to Stroud
all over this
different way, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like someone right here says, per your conversation last week, is there any doubt it's 1 Stroud, 2 Levis? Seems not even close after these 2. I'm gonna say, honestly, with both of them, let's hold off. Let's hold off on the parade. Levis, very encouraging 2 games. Stroud was incredible yesterday. Stroud was bad a week ago and lost to Bryce Young. And Bryce Young was terrible yesterday, and on and on and on. I mean, consistency is the hardest thing to attain.
And Hooker hasn't played, and Richardson's barely played.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, again, the whole thing with this conversation, like we ranked him the other day. I think I am going to move Stroud up on my rankings.
Yeah, probably.
But the whole thing with this conversation, there's no wrong answer. There's no bad answer. We're all guessing. Anyone who yells at someone else and says, how could you put blah, blah, blah over blah, 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 that's the only dumb answer because you don't know. We don't know. Okay, let's please not pretend like we know. But point here made by a few people, including Skylar Erickson, O-line.
Yep.
Because Stroud does have a bit, and the Texans have been bad, and they've drafted offensive linemen, and they've got a pretty decent offensive line. And the Colts' offensive line is aging, but if you want to rank them, I mean, yeah, the Titans are the 4th best offensive line of those 4 right now. So,
no question.
So that is a huge critical part of this. And, I think that we're trending toward the Titans. Wherever they end up drafting, I mean, I think an offensive tackle is a prominent possibility for the Tennessee Titans yet again in the upcoming draft.
Well, if you're Jacksonville, obviously you're feeling great because you're 6-2, you're playing well. Trevor Lawrence has been good. They figured some things out after that. I mean, they looked pretty rough the first 3 or 4 weeks of the year, and they look like they've turned a corner and figured some things out.
Went to Europe and got it together.
Yeah, they did. So the credit to them, they're playing really well. I do, like, if you're that front office, you had to be at the draft feeling great about where you're at. You had just won the division. Trevor Lawrence played great in the second half of last year, and you looked around the rest of the division and you said, all 3 of those teams need a quarterback of the future, and we know how hard it is to find one of those. As you're sitting here today and you've seen Stroud play the way that he's played, Levis, albeit very limited at this point, the way that he's played, how are you feeling today if you're Jacksonville about what the outlook of this division looks like moving forward?
Well, you're the best team right now, and you're going to win the division this year. So, look, you just gotta feel good about what you have. And I mean, I agree with anybody who, as someone texted in, Phil in Kentucky, Lawrence he's been better. He's been very good.
He's good.
I totally agree. Like with Lawrence, I think Lawrence is different than any of these other guys because all of these guys had holes poked in. You had the whole S2 thing with Stroud, which again was a little bit of a weird situation. You have Richardson, so raw, who knows? Levis, personality, whatever. Levis drops to the second round. Lawrence was number 1 overall, no questions asked. Everybody knows he's going number 1. He's going to be a generational quarterback. Unlike the other 3, Lawrence came with this, this could be the next dude. Like whoever right now the dude is Mahomes,
Yep.
And so there's one difference. These other guys, they don't have the same level of expectation coming in. But yeah, if you're the Jags, I mean, you've come back from just a brutal stretch to be the best team in the division. I mean, in the Jags, I don't consider them a contender this year, but you know what? If you're a Jags fan, if things can keep getting better and improving the way ATN's playing, the defense is playing better, why can't you in January cause problems and have a chance to make a run? I mean, they have a chance this year.
Yeah.
The other teams are, they got hope for the future, basically.
I mean, right now, Jacksonville is the number 3 seed in the AFC. Kansas City 1, Baltimore 2, Jacksonville 3.
So
things can change, but that's where
they
are right now.
Get a home playoff game, and who knows? By the way, Baltimore does look pretty good.
They look pretty good.
It's a pretty good team.
And they did it, and they're doing it like with OBJ, like not even really being that much of a factor, and they still look pretty darn good.
They do. But, Jacksonville, I mean, that's so long term. Yeah, I guess if you're Jacksonville, like, wow, it'd be great if everybody else sucked.
Yeah,
they all got their quarterbacks, and we'll see. But right now, I mean, if you wanted to bet, like 5 years from now, which of these quarterbacks will be the best? I mean, the safe money is still Trevor Lawrence.
I would agree with that. I mean, it's hard not to be encouraged by what we've seen from Levis. Now, as more tape becomes available on him and defenses start to game plan for him, how does he respond to that? Because look, I mean, Joe, we've seen rookie quarterbacks come in and look really, really good for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden there's more tape on them and their play drops off and they're never really the same again. We've also seen rookie quarterbacks come in, look terrible, and then they figure things out and look a lot better as things go. So it's not the same path for everybody. But like if you're Levis and assuming he continues to be the starter this year for the Titans when Tannehill comes back, is there a level of consistency that he brings to the table where you look around at the end of the year and you say, all right, that guy, game in, game out, it wasn't always perfect. There were some mistakes that he made and he's going to make as a rookie and all those things. But for the most part, it was pretty darn good, pretty darn consistent, and you feel great about where you are as a team moving forward. I mean, we're getting there already with Stroud. Like, Stroud has put together some consistently pretty good football so far this year. Can Levis do that as the season goes on here, and can he get to a place where by the end of the season you're not only feeling encouraged about what he could be, you feel great about what he is if you're the Titans by the end of the year.
So you think Tannehill's going to get hurt again? What if Tannehill just starts the rest of the year?
Well, I mean, if he came back in and started behind that offensive line, yeah, I think he'd probably get hurt.
Well,
again.
yeah.
I think at some point he probably would.
But it's funny because everything you say makes sense, and it's what everybody wants to see and find out and get a head start. And, I mean, I don't know for sure that Will Levis starts this week.
There's a chance that next Monday at this time we are talking about Ryan Tannehill starting for the Titans in a win or a loss against Tampa Bay the day before. There's a chance that could happen.
For the record, I do not think that will happen.
I don't either.
I know, Sam Phelan from A to Z tweeted right after the press conference, well, that press conference basically sounded like Vrabel's going with Tannehill. I'm like, yeah, I don't think so, man. I mean, you may be right. You may be right. He left it open, but I mean, I expected him to do exactly that. I think he's going to go with Levis.
I hope so.
If not, then Titans fans will get angry, and I will apologize to Sam.
Join Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders,
really
and Derek Mason, really angry, at Twin Peaks in Madison this Sunday from 9:30 to 11:30 for our NFL pregame show. They'll break down the Titans' Week 10 matchup against the Buccaneers and give you the latest updates before the game. Our NFL pregame show presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment and the Beast Unleashed. Coming up next, we'll be joined by David Ubben from The Athletic. We'll talk a little college football with him. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Attention all fire protection, commercial plumbing, and HVAC experts. Jarrett Companies are looking for experienced field technicians like you. Tired of working for your large corporate employer? Work for a company where you're more than just a number. Jarrett's Fire Protection, commercial plumbing, and HVAC divisions are owned and operated by Nashville natives who want you to grow with their amazing team.
Hi, I'm Jason Jarrett, owner of Jarrett Companies. I'm looking to hire experienced experts and will offer a sign-on bonus of up to $5,000 for certified professionals. In addition to our great benefits that include a 401k match, PTO, and top pay with annual bonuses, we'll also provide you with top-of-the-line tools, trucks, and equipment that you need to grow your career. Our customer base is large and our business is booming with many opportunities for advancement. Give us a call or go online to JarrettCompaniesInc.com and apply today to become a member of our family and protect our community. That's JARRETT CompaniesInc.com. Jarrett Companies, where we are above and beyond industry standards.
Yo, check this out.
Ah, Porvu. Imagine a wonderland, vast as the eye can see. We're talking a whopping 10,000 square feet, stocked with wine, spirits, and over 1,500 beers from around the globe. And if that's not enough, they've got you covered with a massive horde of ready-to-guzzle cocktails like High Noon.
Well, saddle up, partner. It's Porvu, the adult equivalent of a candy store. Open from 9 to 9 Monday through Saturday and from 10 to 6 on Sundays, too. Not leaving your sofa during the next big game? No worries, my jersey-wearing couch potato. You can place your orders at portfood.us or download their super snazzy app.
Just picture hockey night. He shoots, he scores, we toast.
We're talking about a good old round of tequila shots, of course.
Tequila!
Porvu has it all. Tequila is always a big hit, just like Uncle Frank at the family parties.
Wine, spirits, beers, mixers, barware, gifts, party supplies, and more.
Curbside pickup at absolutely zero charge, mind you, and home delivery.
Indian Lake Boulevard in Hendersonville, just off Vietnam Vets, exit 7.
Porvu. It's all Frenchy and fancy, meaning for you.
Score!
Today, football is a game of sound. What if you couldn't hear your coach's play calls? What if you couldn't hear the referee's whistle? For deaf and hard of hearing athletes like me, these what-ifs are a reality. But with the AT&T 5G helmet, now we can see play calls just like the other teams hear them.
Connect the player, change the game. Learn more at att.com/5G helmet. Connecting changes everything. AT&T. AT&T is a proud supporter of the Gallaudet Bison. AT&T 5G helmet not for sale.
Bundling and saving with Geico is an easy choice, so you're free to ponder life's big questions, like what's the best animal in the world if not humans? I'd strongly consider ducks to be somewhere up there on the list. Think about it. Ducks can swim, ducks can fly, and ducks can walk on land. They have access to all terrains. They are the ultimate animal. And they wiggle their butts when they walk, which is funny. Yeah, ducks are awesome. End of story. Bundling and saving with Geico. It's an easy choice.
If you're just tuning in, this is Fan 23, Fansville's #1 sports radio station.
Brought to you by Tasty Dr. Pepper.
We are settling the great debate, best third quarter snack, hot dogs or nachos?
You know my mantra, Doug.
Yes.
Meaty early, cheesy late.
Well, it looks like we have a caller here to weigh in. Is this Chuck?
Popcorn in the third is the move.
What?
You go with passive snacking after halftime.
No, it's nachos.
Look, as long as there's an ice cold Dr. Pepper there to wash it down, I'm good with either. Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
If it's important to Nashville,
I'll put it out right now.
It's important to Jared Stillman.
Like, that's it.
He's not afraid to ask the tough questions.
Something is going on, and the question is, what does it mean?
Or give the strong opinion.
And just needed the bozo offensive coordinator to stop ruining the quarterback.
Stillman and Company. Weekdays at 2 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is Greg McElroy, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Nick Keyser here with you on this Monday morning. Talking a little college football, and to help us do that, we go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in our friend David Ubben from The Athletic. David, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for taking time to be with us. We appreciate it. So, David, as we sit here today on the morning of November 6th, who is David Ubben's best team in the country?
Well, I mean, I guess you got to go Georgia by default, right? I mean, I don't think that they're as just like unbeatable as they've looked at times the last couple years. But you know, you look at the season. I know Michigan's been really dominant. I have a lot of questions about the noise and how that might affect them over the next month. And, of course, as dominant as they have been, the schedule has not been great. So I'm going to go Georgia, not by default. They've been really good, but they've been stacking some pretty good wins. And you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody that's a more complete team.
Well, couple of weeks. Yeah, a couple weeks. First of all, you got Tennessee, Missouri. Missouri, man, I thought they had a real chance there. I mean, I hate to be Mr. PI gets called for one team, doesn't get called for the other team. Stuff like that happens. But, Missouri screwed it up. But I feel like Tennessee has quietly really improved as a team. I'm fascinated by this Tennessee-Missouri matchup this week. But I really think Tennessee has a shot. I think Tennessee-Georgia – for the first time is going to actually be a competitive game in Knoxville. Am I overreacting?
No, and I'll tell you why. In 2022, Georgia was third in the country in yards per carry allowed. In 2021, they were number 2. Do you know what they are this year, Joe?
Not that good.
47th.
Wow.
Just one spot behind Syracuse. You can run on this Georgia team. And Missouri did it. Cody Schrader, a D2 transfer from Truman State, got it going against them. They won that battle up front, and he had a 100-yard day against them. And that's what Missouri likes to do. Missouri is going to challenge them Tennessee is going to challenge them in different ways this year than they did last year, where it was, just sort of, a lot of big plays and looking for the ball downfield, and that requires protecting Hendon Hooker and trying to beat their DBs deep. That's tough to do. They're still really good through the air, but if Tennessee can win some battles up front and use their 85 running backs that they have that seem to all be really effective, it's a decent matchup for them. And of course, that's going to be a crazy crowd. It's not a night game, but we're post-daylight savings time. That'll be a night game in essence, sort of. So, it's going to be interesting, and they'll have a shot, and it'll be a tough test for Georgia. But I think this is a pretty good matchup for Tennessee.
David, what do you make of the way that Milton has played, specifically the last 3 weeks? I mean, obviously he was very inconsistent before then. Great first half against Alabama. He looked good for the whole game against Kentucky. I mean, last week is UConn, so it just kind of is what it is. But overall, what do you make of the way that Milton has improved?
Well, you don't need him to be Superman. You need him to make the throws that he has to make. When you've got an open guy, whether that's 40 yards downfield or 8 yards downfield, you've got to take advantage of those opportunities. And I think obviously when you start getting in games like the Alabama game, like the Georgia game, where it's the difference between winning and losing, you've got to be able to make those throws and avoid big mistakes. Tennessee is 0-2 in those games. They've taken care of business everywhere else, but they're going to have a shot against Georgia. And so, he's improved. I think you'd like him to be a little better, a little more accurate. I think they've done a good job of using his legs in the right spots. They're probably going to need to do more of that against Georgia. You saw Brady Cook have some effectiveness there. Joe's not quite as quick as Brady maybe, but he can run downhill and get you 8 when you need it. So, I think they know they're pretty. Tennessee seems like they're pretty aware of what he can and can't do, and if you're dropping him back there and saying, "Hey, we need you to throw 55 times today," that's probably not going to work very well. But they don't really do that. So, I think it just comes down to he's got to be able to make the throws that you get where, hey, got to have this one, and you've got to have it. You don't need him to be Hendon Hooker and make some insane throws. If he is good, that's good enough for Tennessee to be a team that's really tough to deal with.
So I do have a bone to pick with you, David, because you were pre-shaming people for having Connor Stallions as a Halloween costume, and I thought
I should.
No, come on, current events. It's totally fine. No, I had a great. I had like a Secret Service kind of idea with like a suit and sunglasses. It would have been awesome. Didn't end up going to the Halloween party, or else I would have done that. But no, I mean, come on, we got to have some fun with the Connor Stallions thing. Meanwhile, tell me what you think is going to happen with the Connor. I mean, there's so many things, but what's the ultimate fallout here? I know, to me, college football is going to go to the headsets, right? I mean, I'm assuming, that'll be one of the big picture developments. But what about what do you think is going to happen here, with Harbaugh, with that program, and how it affects this season?
Well, ultimately, Tony Petitti has a tough call here, and I find it amazing that if you make a move here, whether that's suspending Jim Harbaugh, I have a hard time believing you would do something as drastic as banning them from the postseason or making them forfeit games. But if you suspend Jim Harbaugh, I'm sure Michigan would be furious. Whatever. The rest of the league would be pretty happy, and I'm sure that would include Washington and Oregon, who are probably kind of sitting there watching, USC, UCLA, kind of sitting there watching, not involved in these discussions, but certainly paying attention, I'm sure. And if you don't do anything, you're going to have probably 15 teams that are not your biggest fans, and Michigan ready to pat you on the back, in a dark alley and say thanks. To me, if you're playing the politics game, which fair or not, that's a part of this, I might do the thing that 15 people want me to do, and not the thing that the one school will be furious about, even though it is Michigan, even though it's one of your biggest brands. It's tough because this is an unprecedented situation with no clear punishment. So you're kind of having to make it up as you go. So I don't envy him, but it's clear they did something. And if you, don't punish that or leave that up to the NCAA to drop some sanctions in 2027 after this is long gone, for a new commissioner who doesn't have any capital built up, Kevin Warren, for better or worse, was largely defined at how he handled the COVID situation and sort of the will they, won't they, in and out, weird 4-game season that, didn't really make anybody happy and had people, picketing the league office. And I think Tony Petitti, for better or worse, is going to be very, very influenced by how he handles this.
So on the field, I mean, you said it earlier, David, Michigan's schedule has not been great to this point. They do go on the road to Penn State. on Saturday. So how do you think they'll handle this on the field, and do you expect that Michigan gets through the rest of this year undefeated heading into the playoff?
I do. I was really curious to see, because it's a twofold question with Michigan, right? On the one hand, this is an insane situation for a program to have to deal with where, maybe you woke up this morning and you found out your coach is suspended for 3 games. You don't know. Maybe that happens tomorrow morning. Maybe it happens Wednesday morning. Maybe it never happens at all. There's this cloud hanging over. And then there's all the conversation around your program. And I'm sure the constant questions by people in their life and in the media and all this stuff. And then there's the question of, well, if you don't have people's signs now and you don't have the Stallions operation, which seemed to be abruptly halted the week before the Penn State-Ohio State game where the tickets were bought and went unused. Well, I've compared it to the American cinema classic Like Mike. If you don't have the special shoes anymore, are you still Superman? It's a fair question. Now, on the latter point, I think the way that they play against Purdue says something. I mean, if they win that game like 20-10, the conversation on Michigan was going to get real interesting. Now, it's a different challenge against Penn State. I think they'll be okay. I think it definitely, the science leagues have definitely influenced them, but the defense is still pretty good. I think you're going to see a low-scoring game, but if you win that game convincingly, I think it does help you in terms of just shutting up the latter part of the Like Mike scenario, where your shoes are gone, taken by a young Jesse Plemons in the orphanage.
Yes. What a great film.
Yeah. It is. It's one of the best of all time.
I'm with you. It's going to be fascinating. I mean, how dependent were they on this? How much did this really help them? I mean, it had to be some kind of factor. I mean, there's so many videos of like Stallions barking stuff at like Jesse Minter, and it's like, my gosh, I'm sure you see like the Ohio State, whatever. It looked like they called the safeties in on something they knew was around. It's amazing to think about what this could be. But I'm with you. I mean, I still think they could easily run the table here. You mentioned, David, that you think Georgia's the best team. What about these Pac-12 teams? Because I feel like the Pac-12 got disrespected in the first playoff rankings. And I know the first playoff rankings, you have to understand what they are, take them with a grain of salt. But what do you think about that league and how that's going to play out from here?
Well, there's a bunch of good teams, but I think you look at these teams in general, and I look around at the Pac-12 and I see one complete team, and that is Oregon. That is a team that has obviously a very effective offense and a defense that actually rates higher than Georgia on the yards per play aspect of things. You've got UCLA is the only defense in the league that's better than them, but they don't have the offensive power that sort of was painfully obvious for them this weekend against Arizona. And Washington, probably a better offense, more explosive, and has a little more weapons, a receiving core that can stack up with Ohio State. But defensively, they're not great. And you saw USC sort of exploit that on Saturday, and they got dragged into a track meet that they were able to survive. So I still think we are dead set for a rematch in Vegas. And I suspect that Oregon, who outplayed Washington the first time but missed on a couple of fourth downs and gave up a pretty dramatic late drive and then missed a kick to send it to overtime in Seattle, I think on the turf with, perfect conditions and not a road crowd, I think that they avenge that loss and get into the playoffs.
David, last thing for you here. Alabama takes down LSU. We know the quarterback drama earlier in the year, the loss to Texas, all those things. It's clearly Milroe's team now. How good do you think this Alabama team is, and are they a threat for the playoff to actually win the SEC in your mind?
Well, they're going to get to Atlanta, so we know that. You look at the rest of their schedule, it's hard to see them really getting pushed. They have won games where they have not played well. They've rallied in the second half. It's been really impressive from them. But the question is, can you get by Georgia? Georgia's a pretty balanced team, not as great, obviously, as you mentioned, in the run defense as a year ago. They're not just like an unbelievable defense. They're a very good defense, one of the best in the country. But they're not, I think after the game on Saturday night, Kirby Smart kind of halfway referenced that the 2021 Georgia defense was like one of the best 3 defenses of all time in college football. I mean, that's probably up for debate, but it's not an insane thing to say. They don't have that anymore, and they don't have the same sort of reliable offense, but they have a bunch of weapons, and we'll see if Brock Bowers is back. I suspect he will be by the time they get to Atlanta. They still got a month to prepare for that. So Alabama's dangerous. I still think that the warts that they had in the preseason, where I have a lot of questions about their weapons, their offensive line, I think they rank like 119th in pressure rate. Jalen Milroe is getting pressured on 38.9% of his dropbacks. That's extremely high. That's not what you want, and Georgia's going to exacerbate that. And you got guys like, Michael Williams coming after him all the time. So it's not impossible, but I still think that those flaws that Alabama has are going to be exposed by a team like Georgia that, is more equipped to go all the way on you. Like, Tennessee sort of wilted in the second half there. Texas A&M didn't have the offense to take advantage of some of Alabama's struggles. And an Alabama team that people don't think can win a game is always a dangerous one. The last time I think we saw that, they beat the so-called best defense ever by they put 41 on them in the Dome in Atlanta. So you never know, but you look at them and I think Georgia exposes them in Atlanta.
Well, David, great stuff as always, man. Really appreciate you taking time to be with us this morning, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
David Ubben from The Athletic with us here on Robby and Rexrode. Coming up next, it's time for the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. We'll do that next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Green right, box 2 run, double K.
He takes you inside the huddle through the eyes of a quarterback.
Wide 85, take!
Catch ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck every Tuesday at noon as he breaks down the big stories in the NFL.
Buffalo, maybe Miami.
And with the Tennessee Titans.
The Titans might be like, we're interested in a 1-year, $1 million contract.
Tim Hasselbeck is on Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
When the festive bells ring and everyone gathers round, make sure your home's ready for it. From flickering lights to chilly nights to busted pipes, Lee Company is here to help. Heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, or any fix-up you need, we've got the experts ready. Head over to leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com. Remember, Lee Company, all you need, so you can enjoy the holidays worry-free.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal. And it's happening November 17th through 19th. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where they break all the rules. Plus, Genesis selection is nearly double. With designers flying in their entire collections. All on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Luxury pre-owned Rolexes included. Lab-grown diamonds on sale too. Save up to 35% and get zero interest financing. November 17th through 19th at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills, and Cool Springs.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics wants to thank their patients for voting them the #1 orthopedic practice in the Nashville Scene Poll for 3 years in a row. Their physicians specialize in spine, joint replacement, knee, hip, upper extremity, and other orthopedic conditions. At Houston Clinic Orthopedics, they adhere to all CDC guidelines for the patient's and staff safety. To experience world-class orthopedic care and see a list of all physicians, visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online today.
West Coast Taco Shop features some of the best California-style Mexican food. And this week, you can try it for half off with Nashville's best deal of the week. Their burritos, nachos, quesadillas, and a variety of tacos are delicious. And once you try this authentic cuisine, you'll become a regular. They also have a salsa bar. And ask about their free live music nights. West Coast Taco Shop, Murfreesboro Pike in Nashville. Get half off now at thegamenashville.com/deals.
Hey, are you seeking relief? Maybe you would just like to enhance your day or night. Did you know there are illegal THC products available right here in Tennessee? I'm serious. You can have legal THC products shipped to the comfort of your home. Comfort and Cannabis is only one website away. Visit greentreescompany.com. That's Green Trees with a Z. Change your life today.
At the Home Depot, Saturdays are about two things: getting projects done right with Behr Premium Plus interior paint and football. That's right, Kirk Herbstreit. And with Behr's wall-to-wall coverage and long-lasting durable finish, you'll spend less time worrying about your walls, which means more time for football. For football. Upgrade your Saturday with Behr and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
With your choice of select sandwich, nugs, fries, and a drink, Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag is your go-to. Your nugget wingman. Your hot and crispy fry co-pilot.
Just like us. We're like the bag boys.
What?
Bag boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when we bring your food?
For a deal you can count on, bet on Biggie and choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Bag boys.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Includes choice of JVC or crispy chicken sandwich with 4-piece nugs, junior fry, and small soft drink. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
He breaks down every game.
The players are still going to be fine.
And knows the ins and outs of the two-tone blue.
They deal with their own position coaches.
He is ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter Teron Davenport.
It's clear what he's doing.
TD joins every Monday at 1, Thursdays at 3, Friday mornings at 8, and anytime on the Talkin' with TD podcast.
I think that's really cool how he could show both sides.
TD is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode.
It's part of this nutritious breakfast.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment, let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
Coach, shut him up hard.
It is that time of the day, time for the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. You can check it out every morning at 7:45-ish here on the program. Joe Rexrode, the floor is yours.
Okay, wait, what was the last quote there? I mean, I know the remember the Titans part. What was the last thing?
He said, shut him up hard.
That's from that movie?
Yeah. It's the other coach. He's walking over to his player. He's telling him to shut him up. They're doing that stuff in the pregame warning.
Okay.
Didn't go well for that guy.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Spoiler alert.
All right. Yeah. Good movie. Check it out. Well, I'm going to talk about high school football today. Not really in specifics, because I think this is a universal thing, which I kind of said at the beginning of the year, but I guess I'll have to say it again. So, specifically, thank you for the great season. Coach Derek and the Nolensville Knights, heartbreaker, lost to Tullahoma. Congrats to Tullahoma. Injuries got us, but, not going to
full credit to Tullahoma.
Yeah, exactly. No, not making excuses. We had some very tough injuries. But I will reiterate something that I don't know where this goes on the top 5 or top 10 of pet peeves. It's pretty high, man. If you're a high school football parent and someone else's kid makes a mistake, doesn't make a play, whatever it may be, shut your effing mouth. Keep the kid's name out of your mouth.
Shout out to Will Smith.
Also, look, this is, winning does matter, and these coaches, communities count on these coaches and all this stuff, right? So, look, I understand if you don't like a play call or whatever, but really you need to shut up, too, if you want to scream at coaches. If you get to the point where you're screaming at coaches during a game and the coach, some coaches are, turning around and looking back, and you get to the point where people in the bleachers are moving away from you because you're screaming at the coaches about something, maybe you need to look at yourself and shut your effing mouth.
I guess I had been away from it for a while. High school football, really high school sports in general. I was at a high school football game a month ago, and just standing there away from the bleachers, I was on the kind of the sideline over there, and listening to some of the things that got yelled on the field. I was just like, what is going on here? This sounds like we're in Neyland, in like the middle of a Tennessee-Alabama game. What the heck's going on here?
Right. It's not that. I mean, there's got to be a different, like, go to an NFL game, boo. We've talked about boo all you want.
Absolutely.
Boo them. And you know what?
Yell at the refs, do whatever you want.
Sure. College, too. I mean, you know, and I guess it's even a little different now, NIL, whatever, with the players. But certainly you can yell at coaches. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's high school, guys. It's kids. These are kids, and these are coaches who are not getting rich coaching the kids.
Yeah.
And so, again, if you think you can do better, then get into the coaching realm and coach youth and coach middle school or whatever. If you're a teacher, you want to be a coach, that's great. You want to officiate, okay? Well, then get into officiating. Look, I'll raise my hand, okay? Because there was a call in that game, and it was not good, and I yelled. But I yelled at the call. That's a terrible call. How could you make that call? It doesn't have to get to the personal stuff or the threatening stuff, things like that. But even then, I was like, I try not to do that stuff. But yelling at the players or coaches, I mean, seriously, guys.
Yelling at 16-year-olds?
High school football. Yeah, you're right. And,
I couldn't believe it. I was just like, wow, this is really intense. This is, I won't throw people on the bus, but this is like my alma mater. I'm sitting there just looking around like, what's going on around here? You guys taking this seriously.
Yeah, and again, it's like we're bringing attention to something that from what I've seen, it's not like it's super widespread, but it's a few people. And again, especially just like kids are going to make mistakes and stuff, and it's disappointing and all that stuff. But, man, you got to be able to control yourself better than that, don't you? You can't, especially if you have a kid on the team. You have a kid on the team, and again, that these are kids and that everybody's going to make mistakes, all this stuff. And I know everybody wants to win, and it's emotional, and it's heartbreaking when the seniors are done. But, like, you have a kid on the team, and you're going to scream at another kid for making a mistake? Like, seriously, what's wrong with you?
It's not good. This has been the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. You can check it out every morning at 7:45 here on the program. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Corey Curtis from News 2. We'll get his thoughts on the Titans, the day of action yesterday in the NFL as well. All that up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
All the big plays.
And we are done. Vandy 24-21.
All the big stories.
I'm sure Vandy will be a much better team if Clark Lee is the coach.
All in one place. We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
What a stop by UC Sarah. Then he wouldn't end up on my team.
Driving his way to victory lane.
I think that's the right strategy.
The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Fast-paced health provides easy access to quality care close to home. The streets you live on are the streets we live on. We're part of the baseball games and Main Street parades. Your community is our community, and it's our mission to provide you with quick, convenient, and affordable health care. We're here for the injuries and illnesses, the preventative treatments, the chronic conditions, and so much more. Fast-paced health.
2 new locations, Antioch and Mount Juliet.
Time for the Preds Report.
Max Hers with your Monday Preds Report. The Predators slayed the Giant on Saturday afternoon, defeating the Oilers 5-2 in Edmonton, their first regulation win against the Oil in 5 years. Ryan O'Reilly had the Predators' first hat trick of the season. Blocker saved by Campbell. One-timer Carrier tipped wide by Nyquist. It comes back in front. Campbell covers it up. Puck still alive on the near left side.
It did everything but go in.
Puck was never frozen. In the front, O'Reilly for the hat trick. Ryan O'Reilly with the hat trick. 5-2 Preds. 11:26 left in the third. 4 points apiece for O'Reilly and Forsberg. Kevin Lankinen, 33 big saves in goal. And Mark Del Gaizo had his first NHL point in his NHL debut. Next up tomorrow night at 8 in Calgary.
All the best car deals in Smashville start at Newton Nissan. Visit them at Newton Nissan of Gallatin or Newton Nissan South in Shelbyville.
This is Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
Teddy's Tavern, downtown's newest bar with an old Nashville feel, is conveniently located across the street from Bridgestone Arena and just blocks away from the pedestrian bridge. Get a taste of the new brunch menu to fuel your Titans Day pride on game day. Pre-game specials from 9 a.m. till kickoff when the Titans play at home include 2-for-1 draft beers, mimosas, and Bloody Marys. Teddy's Tavern is where you want to be before every Titans home game, so come downtown early and meet me at Teddy's.
Yo, check this out.
Ah, Pourvu. Imagine a wonderland, vast as the eye can see. We're talking a whopping 10,000 square feet, stocked with wine, spirits, and over 1,500 beers from around the globe. And if that's not enough, they've got you covered with a massive horde of ready-to-guzzle cocktails like High Noon.
Well, saddle up, partner. It's Pourvu, the adult equivalent of a candy store. Open from 9 to 9 Monday through Saturday and from 10 to 6 on Sundays, too. Not leaving your sofa during the next big game? No worries, my jersey-wearing couch potato. You can place your orders at pourvu.us or download their super snazzy app.
Just picture hockey night. He shoots, he scores, we toast.
We're talking about a good old round of tequila shots, of course.
Tequila!
Pourvu has it all. Tequila is always a big hit, just like Uncle Frank at the family parties.
Wine, spirits, beers, mixers, barware, gifts, party supplies, and more.
Curbside pickup at absolutely zero charge, mind you, and home delivery.
Indian Lake Boulevard in Hendersonville, just off Vietnam Vets, exit 7.
Pourvu. It's all Frenchy and fancy, meaning for you.
Score!
Now, your Game Center update.
This update is delivered by Black Tie Moving. I'm Nick Keyser. The Nashville Predators took down the Edmonton Oilers 5-2 on Saturday. It was their first regulation win in Edmonton since October 20th, 2018. And defenseman Mark Del Gaizo made his NHL debut in emotional. Del Gaizo shared how it all sunk in for him.
I think leading up to the moment, it didn't really, but just the anthem and the warm-ups and the lap and a few times I was just thinking of my family out there and got a little bit emotional. And
Ryan Blaney is your 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champion. The Ohio native won his first Cup Series title in his 6th full season, driving for team owner Roger Penske, and quarterback C.J. Stroud set a new NFL single-game rookie passing yards record, tossing for 470 yards and 5 touchdowns. Stroud and the Texans defeated the Buccaneers, winning 39-37, improving to 4-4 on the season. This update has been delivered by Black Tie Moving. Use the promo code GAME to score 10% off of your next move.
Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Ross Chastain will be first to finish in the Ally 500 at Nashville Super Speedway.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR. 102.5 and 106.3.
Checkered flag is in the air.
Man, this is a win in the Cup race.
The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun.
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Nick Keyser here with you on this Monday morning. And as we do every Monday morning at 8 o'clock, we go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And welcome in our friend Corey Curtis from News 2. Corey, good morning. How are you?
I'm just glad we're all still friends.
I am too. It's a good day. We're all still friends. We're all on the program together. It's good stuff.
We'll see how we are in 15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
Let's
we'll see.
do this.
Let's see how it goes. Corey, obviously, really impressive couple of games, at least in my opinion, from Will Levis. What is fair?
Mm-hmm.
What is an overreaction in your mind if you're a Titans fan today based on the way that Will Levis has played through 2 games? How excited should Titans fans be?
I think it's okay to be excited and encouraged, but those anointing him like the next great one, it's a little early for that, right? I mean, we've seen quarterbacks flash in their rookie years before for a variety of reasons. I think when I watch Will, what I get most excited about are his preparation, his command, and his confidence, and you see it with some superior arm talent as well. And, when you're able to put those things together, that's when you've got something. I think that is just what has impressed me most, that the moment has in no way been too big for him. Does that mean he hasn't made mistakes? No, it does not. But it's not because he's scared or unprepared. And I think that's what is exciting. That's what you should be excited about, is you've got a guy who's ready to take on one of the greatest challenges in all of professional sports, and that's playing pro quarterback.
So do you expect that he'll continue that pursuit Sunday in Tampa Bay, or will he be cheering on Ryan Tannehill from the sideline?
Well, I mean, I think look, I just can't fathom him not being that way, not being the starter. I can't. I mean, I understand, Tannehill's the veteran. I also understand he's probably still not 100%. I mean, a high ankle sprain is bad. Those can take a while. And, he's got the goods. I mean, it's just hard to put him back on the bench. And, and I know all the times we have heard Vrabel, we've always asked him definitively, is Ryan your starter when he's healthy? Yes, Ryan's our starter when he's healthy. Yes, Ryan's our starter when he's healthy. And what did he say last week? We'll see.
Yep.
Not prepared to answer that question. And to me, not prepared to answer that question means, no, he's not, but I don't want to state it publicly.
So, Corey, what about this division? We've got the Levis part of this. It's 2 games, so there's still a long way to go. Stroud has been incredible so far this year. Richardson, before he got hurt, showed some flashes. And then there's Trevor Lawrence, the grizzled veteran at the age of 24 out there with Jacksonville. What do you make of where this division is, where their quarterbacks, and maybe what this means for the next, 3, 5, 10 years with quarterback play in this division?
I mean, it's shades of, having Staubach, Theismann, and Jaworski all rolling out in the NFC East.
I love it.
I mean, was Sims the quarterback yet in New York at that point?
I don't know if Sims was quite. Sims and Jaworski kind of didn't really cross much, right?
Yeah, okay, I didn't think so. And, Staubach, that was probably the transition from Staubach to White.
Danny White, yeah.
Danny White, who was still pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I wish kids could have seen Staubach play, though.
Not to be confused with the Tennessee athletic director, Danny White.
No, not the same one at all.
Good point.
Look, you should be excited about we've seen our share of subpar quarterback play in the AFC South. So I think it's exciting to see a bunch of young guys who could be it. I mean, when you watch some of the highlights from C.J. Stroud, I mean, he doesn't just throw the ball. I mean, he is throwing accurately with great velocity, great conviction. I mean, I saw some of those throws yesterday, and I'm like, wow, this is a problem.
Yeah.
This is going to be a problem for a while. I don't hate Trevor Lawrence. I hate that people want to put him in the top 5, when the season started and everything, because I'm like, he's done nothing to be anointed that, absolutely nothing. He's a good young quarterback. I heard you guys talking earlier about how he had not been dissected like the other guys. I think there's some truth to that. There's people, because he was supposed to be the guy, there's people looking to anoint him. He can just be good. That's possible, and it's okay. He can be good. But also the other thing is with him is the pool size is bigger from what you've seen from him.
Yeah.
Now the pool size is smaller with him with an actual adult as his head coach. So there's a difference there as well. But you're seeing a good player. I wouldn't put him with Burrow and with Mahomes and some of those guys just yet. But I'm excited to see where this division is, in a year or two. Look, I don't hate Anthony Richardson. I've got nothing against Anthony Richardson. I'm just going to say this. I said it when I watched him play his first 2 weeks. He's never going to last. If they're going to continue to play him like they played him to start the season, he will never last. He'll be out of the league in 4 years because physically he won't stay healthy. I could be wrong, and I could have a Twitter of bad takes exposed. That's fine. I'm willing to ride on that limb. You know, he's gotta have a staff that's willing to protect him because he's not indestructible. He can't run around and put his head down and take on linebackers and safeties. He's just he won't make it. And also, he's a talented athlete. You know, why not teach him to play the position and let him play the position and let him play it for 10 years instead of just getting killed?
So Corey Benvolin of the Boston Globe has an interesting report over the weekend about the Patriots' future at head coach. Basically, you know, suggests, I guess it's not a surprise to hear this, but two sources in the organization tell him that Vrabel is the name on the hope chest there. So what do you make of that? What do you make about that, like, from the Titans' perspective? Like, if you're Amy Adams Strunk and you see that, what do you make of that?
Well, first of all, like you said, that's not surprising to anyone, is it? I mean, you always look, like, for connections to your organization for the next guy. And I think that is that – because, like, if Vrabel left, what would be the first name that comes up here? Probably Arthur Smith?
Yeah.
I mean, so we all make those connections. And, you know, Mike has largely done a good job here, so it's not surprising. And, you know, if you're Amy Adams Strunk, it's a compliment, right? It's a compliment that they think you've hired somebody good and you have somebody good running your show. He's also got value. You can look at it from that aspect. But you have to determine, you know, what's most important, you know, within your organization. Now, I don't know. Do we know definitively how long his contract extension was for?
I don't think so, do we, Vrabel?
That was 5 years.
There you go, 5 years.
5 years? Okay. So they've got him for 4 more years.
Correct.
Right? Okay. I am willing to bet that Bill Belichick does not last 4 more years. Okay? And so you've got control of him when that coaching change happens. So you just have to know. I mean, I think you have to just be deciding now, you know, figuring out now, you know, what's our plan? You know, if they come after him, are we going to entertain this or not? And if we are going to entertain it, how much value do we put on it? You know, and that's a decision, you know, for her, and I would say for Rand, but, you know, that depends on what you think the power structure is. So it might just be a decision for her on what to do there. But again, I don't think it's something to fear, I guess, is what I'm saying, because you've got control of him. This isn't college football. He can't just leave and go do it.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, ultimately, it's your decision, right? So, like, if you're the Titans, if you're Amy Adams Strunk, what would the compensation be for you to actually seriously consider this? Because I think we all agree, at least the three of us agree, that Vrabel is a good coach. So what would it take for you to actually seriously consider this if you're Amy Adams Strunk and the Titans?
The Bucks got 2 1s for Gruden,
yeah.
right? And he had not won a Super Bowl at that point.
Correct.
Did the Broncos get compensation? I mean, did the Saints get compensation for Sean Payton?
That's a good question. I need to go look that up.
I think they did.
Did they?
I think so. I'm not positive, but I think they did.
It's certainly it's precedented.
Yes. Look, there would have to be at least 1 first-round pick, okay? And then beyond that, you know, what you would want. You know, like I said, the precedent with Gruden, now that's a long time ago precedent, it was 2 1s. It also depends on how bad you want to keep him. You know, because if you really want to keep him, then it's a non-starter, and you just say, no, he's our coach.
Right.
But if you're actually willing to discuss it, then there is a price. There is a price that you're willing to pay and they're willing to take. And so, you know, just, you know, this Patriot team's not very good right now. You know, their ones are pretty good. So maybe that would be the case. You know, maybe you like Mike, but you think maybe this is as far as he can take us. And so we'll take 2 1s and restart the clock. You know, I guess I started 2 1s because that's the precedent. And he's a good coach who they want, evidently. And so you get to call the shots. And if you're going to call the shots, you got to call them pretty high.
By the way, Denver sent a first and a second round pick for Sean Payton, and the Saints also sent back a third to Denver, so kind of a pick swap
this was
there.
for a coach who wasn't coaching anymore.
Correct. So you got that, and the Gruden one was, and Jared has texted in, Gruden was 2 1s and 2 2s. Or excuse me, 2 1s. Yeah, 2 1s and 2 2s for Gruden. That was a heck of a haul.
Yeah. So it's got to be at least 2 1s then.
It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Corey, great stuff as always. Thanks for taking time to be with us this week.
Well, you're welcome. Congratulations. I've heard from my sources up in Green Bay that LaFleur is, having won another game, received a lifetime extension and full control over personnel.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Oh, there we go. He deserves it.
Yeah.
Apparently, he does these handshakes where he grips his own hand as they're highlighting it right now on the NFL Network. It's great stuff.
And maybe you guys could have me back tomorrow, and we could talk about the exciting future of the quarterback position in the NFC North.
Yes, absolutely. I'm sure it's a lot to be excited about in the North right now. Shout out to Josh Dobbs.
But when Jared Goff is like the godfather of the position in your division, I mean, and I don't hate Jared Goff, but I mean, come on, he's Jared Goff.
All due respect.
I said all due respect.
Right.
I sure get to say whatever I want.
Thank you, Corey. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Corey Curtis from News 2, our guest, joins us every Monday morning at 8 o'clock. We'll get more into the Vrabel story coming next. A lot of your thoughts on that earlier in the show. We'll open those back up on our phone and text lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. What do you make of the report from the Boston Globe that Robert Kraft apparently would really like Mike Vrabel to be Bill Belichick's successor in New England? We'll get into that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
When you want all the...
Going in and the score. Blast the score. He risks one, they score.
And don't forget the...
Oh, what a stop. Sliding across to make the save. Backhander, nice stop.
When all you want is Smashville. We have you covered. Hear every Predators game right here. We are your home for Smashville. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
SEC basketball lives right here in Nashville, and you don't want to miss out as the Vanderbilt Commodores tip off the season. With a variety of budget-friendly ticket options, you can be there for all of the Memorial Magic. Led by SEC Coach of the Year Jerry Stackhouse, the men's team hosts home games against Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, and a whole lot more. And Coach Shea Ralph and the women's squad will take the court against the likes of LSU, Tennessee, and Ole Miss. For tickets or more information, go to VUCommodores.com or call 877-44-VANDY.
Willie Donick here for Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. The official brand perception report for doors and windows is in. Pella Windows and Doors are the leading brand among all others. A few reasons why. Pella is regarded as the highest quality, the most innovative, and the installers with Pella of Nashville lead the way for attention to detail. That's why Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville is one of Pella's top locations in the country. For new doors or windows, I suggest you choose the experts at Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Go to PellaNashville.com.
Hey Nashville, ready for a leap back in time this Veterans Day? Join the Kiwanis Club at Centennial Park for a World War I Remembrance Spectacular. Hear from Kem Hinton, Colonel Stephen Todd, and veteran advocate Jennifer O'Neill. We're gathered at the Mother Monument November 11th, 1 p.m. Experience history with a World War I camp reenactment by the 9th Kentucky Infantry. And yes, there will be food trucks. Honor, remember, and celebrate with us this Saturday, 1 p.m. The Kiwanis Club of Nashville, serving our community since 1916.
20th Century Studios presents A Haunting in Venice, now streaming only on Hulu.
You were saying?
From the world of Agatha Christie
You're coming with me.
comes what Entertainment Weekly calls Kenneth Branagh's best Poirot movie yet.
I will not be next.
Then we must be careful. It's the perfect movie for fall.
It is fabulous.
It will keep you guessing until the very end.
My money's on the housekeeper.
A Haunting in Venice, rated PG-13, may be inappropriate for children under 13, now streaming only on Hulu.
I've got to admit, no one does Black Friday like Kohl's. I just shopped their early access deals and saved big. With the 15% off going on, I scored a sweater for under $13 and a throw blanket for just $8.49. Then I got 50% off a few of my favorite Sephora at Kohl's Beauty Finds and earned some Kohl's cash too. These deals are almost over, so don't wait. Get to Kohl's now. Select styles. Offers end November 9th. Sephora, coupons, and Kohl's cash do not apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
eBay Motors is here for the ride.
120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Anyone want to tell me what happened? Did you miss any of today's show?
It's okay. It's fine. Don't worry.
Subscribe to the Robby and Rexrode podcast on Apple, Spotify, and other podcast platforms, or by going to thegamenashville.com.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
You're listening to Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, live from our 102.5 The Game studio, brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. This week's Nashville's Best Deal is West Coast Taco Shop. Try some of the best California-style Mexican food at West Coast Taco Shop on Murfreesboro Pike in Nashville. Their burritos, nachos, quesadillas, and a variety of tacos are delicious. Go to thegamenashville.com/deals to get half off a $20 gift card while supplies last. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Joe, the report from the Boston Globe over the weekend, Ben Volen put this out there. We talked about it earlier in the show. I'll read a little snippet of the article from the Boston Globe. Quote, "Two sources close to the Patriots have independently said the same thing. They believe Vrabel, currently the Titans coach, is the Kraft's, quote, home run choice to succeed Bill Belichick." It goes on to talk about Vrabel's qualifications, the fact that when Belichick was hired, Kraft gave up a first-round pick for Belichick in the year 2000. Says just because Vrabel is the home run choice doesn't mean it will happen. Vrabel's under contract with the Titans, and the Patriots would have to trade for him, likely at least one first-round pick. The Patriots are a team that needs to use its first-rounder next year, especially if they are in range for a top quarterback. So what do you think of all this from Ben Volen of the Boston Globe that he put out on Friday?
Well, it's been pointed out to me, if we're parsing words here, so let's do that a little bit. Sources close to the Patriots. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Now, here's the thing. I don't know the Boston Globe standards. I can tell you different places have different standards, like some, New York Times standards, team source is sort of the standard, which is identifying, basically that would say you wouldn't say with Patriots, you say team source. Okay?
Correct.
Source close to the Patriots. Two sources close to the Patriots. I kind of take it like they're in the organization in some way, but then again, it is interesting phrasing. But I'm trying to think, Ben Volen is a guy who has been covering this league for a long time, works for the Boston Globe, not a guy who's going to go out there and, to me, I would not think, write something like this if it's some rando walking around the building like, man, Vrabel rules. I love Vrabel.
Right.
I bet you Robert Kraft would like him too.
Be home run.
Report. I just, I just don't think that's going to happen. But, the phrasing is interesting. Like, close to the Patriots, it's kind of weird if you think about it. It is close to because with anonymous sources, sometimes you get, close to the situation. A source close to the situation, which sometimes it could be like a family member of an involved party.
To Brady.
What's that?
To Brady.
Oh, there you go, Brady. It's a game of telephone. That's the thing. You don't want to start getting into the game of telephone with sources, which some people do, which is like, I heard from this person, I heard from, Ferris's girlfriend's aunt's sister's uncle that he was at 31 Flavors, You don't want to get into that.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jared's screaming at me. No source guessing. I'm not source guessing. I'm not trying to figure out. I think this clearly is coming from Ben's source. Jimmy G. I'm just saying the phrasing on an anonymous source report. It's worth bringing up. And then the question would be, whenever you get into things that are ownership. Obviously different owners do things differently. Is this Robert Kraft? Is Robert Kraft putting this out there?
Right.
Does Robert Kraft want this out there? To sort of,
it's a good question.
Sometimes people do want things like this out there.
Sure.
Sometimes it's to check the temperature of the fan base.
Yep.
or just to get the idea out there. I don't know. I mean, again, we're all just guessing on this. But I will say, Volin, I think, has a pretty good track record. And so, also, like Corey said, the idea that the Patriots would like Vrabel. I mean, I would be stunned if it was the other way around. Like, Patriots not interested in Vrabel.
Right.
Earth-shaking, I mean,
the real part of this story to me that's got the juice to it is, would the Titans actually consider this? I mean, that's what it comes down to, right? Because Vrabel's under contract.
If it were to be something that the Patriots were motivated enough to
right, like if the Patriots approach the Titans with an offer, whether it's a first-round pick or a first-round pick and a third-round pick or whatever the offer is, would the Titans seriously consider doing it? I mean, that's what it comes down to. And what compensation coming back from the Patriots would be required for the Titans to seriously consider it? I mean, that to me is the really interesting part of all this. I mean, we've talked about Vrabel a lot today. There have been a lot of different opinions on this. Some people, I mean, we've had people say, yeah, trade him for a fifth-rounder. Just get him out of here. We've had some people say, I don't care what they offer, you're not trading Vrabel. So it's been kind of everything in between today on the text line. But, like, if you're Amy Adams-Strunk, you've committed to Vrabel. Regardless of what you think of what all went down with John Robinson, Vrabel has obviously ended up with more responsibility through it. So, obviously, she likes Vrabel. She likes the way Vrabel does things. On the other side, he has lost 12 of 15 games, and it's not going well on the field. We can point to a million different reasons for that. But if you're Amy Adams-Strunk and the Titans, what would actually cause you to seriously consider this from a compensation standpoint that the Patriots would send your way? And does Robert Kraft love Vrabel enough where he's willing to offer that compensation? Which, as they point out in the article, this is a team that needs all the draft compensation they can get right now in New England.
Yeah, it's a long-term, in both cases, it's a long-term thing. I mean, if you're Amy Adams-Strunk, you believe in Vrabel, and you think he's one of the best coaches in the NFL, then I think that short-term gain of draft picks is a bad idea. You can easily wander through the desert at coach in this league. It's, I mean, let's look at the churn and the turnover and how many coaches get hired and fired, and just look at the history of this franchise before they got Vrabel. I mean, between Fisher and Vrabel, right? You could go through a nice stretch like that, which also, I mean, look, what's the most precious commodity in this organization
right now?
Yeah,
Will Levis.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
because the most important job in sports is quarterback, and so all things should be about how can you best support him, develop him, and make it so it's possible that he could be the guy that'll lead you to championships.
Yeah.
Now, some people I know, and I'm sure I'll see a text to this effect, like get somebody who is a third cousin of Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan and get it, okay. I mean, I understand the idea of the offensive head coach, the offensive play calling head coach, all that stuff. But also, if things are going well on that track right now, and, look, if things go well on offense, what happens is like a Tim Kelly gets hired away. Right. I know that may be laughable to say now because their offense is not good, but they have a lot of personnel problems. So, do you like what's happened so far? Do you feel like those guys can develop a quarterback, Kelly and Charles London? Because if you do make the change, you may be messing with your most valuable resource.
615-737-1025. What do you make of the report the Boston Globe threw out there that Patriots could be interested in Mike Vrabel? A home run hire, according to sources close to the Patriots that Ben Volin has put out there. We'll take your thoughts on that. A lot of your thoughts to get to as well already. We'll do that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Get wings the way you want them. Try Twin Peaks wings bone-in breaded, naked, smoked and grilled, or boneless in your favorite sauce or rub.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and last sale of the year is coming November 17th through 19th. It's an extraordinary event with savings of 20, 30, up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets. Nothing's held back for this once-a-year, 3-day store-wide sale. Acclaimed designers will be flying in with expanded collections and special pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. Luxury pre-owned Rolexes are also included. Lab-grown diamonds, too. Discounts up to 35%. Genesis Diamond, November 17th through 19th only. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
No problem, sweetie.
I can't believe you're able to fit everything in that little sedan.
Bye!
When they move out, you can move on to a house that fits your life. It's time to live in a space that fits your family.
Let Regal Realty Group get you into a home that is less to take care of. Save money or even make money on the sale of your current home. Get more info at regalrg.com.
Join MTSU football November 11th inside Floyd Stadium for the 41st annual Salute to Veterans and Armed Forces. Blue Raiders will pay tribute to our brave veterans, current service members, and their families for their service and sacrifice. Veterans and their families can receive complimentary admission. For more information, visit goblueraiders.com. Kickoff is scheduled for 2:30 p.m. against FIU. Let's go Blue!
Today's world is filled with many things that can push us to our limit. An upcoming move should not add to that list. Hey, it's Caroline Fenton. And when you choose Black Tie Moving like I did, you get a highly awarded Inc. 500 company. From the free estimate by a local professional moving consultant to the red carpet treatment, they take the stress out of the process. So visit blacktiemoving.com or call 615-437-8401. Mention GAME, G-A-M-E, to score 10% off your next move. Let Black Tie Moving make your next move the best move of your life.
At EasyCater, we know ordering food for work isn't as easy as it seems.
Lunch meeting is set for Wednesday.
We need food for 27 people.
And it has to be on time.
Client is coming.
He's vegan.
Messy eater.
Where's
white shirts?
You getting this?
Okay, what do we need?
Gluten-free. No more sandwiches.
Make sure there's enough. Make sure the food is hot.
Client has a hard stop at 12:30. Make sure there's plenty of spoons, tomatoes, and potatoes. Stay on your budget. Allergic to potatoes.
Itemize more people. Lunch meeting? Just use EasyCater. Food for work delivered on time as ordered with a huge variety. 100,000 restaurants, one platform. Order 24/7 at easycater.com.
Insightful discussion.
When we talk about the person that these players are.
3 goals scored in the first 5 minutes.
He wants to be the starter, day one.
Mixed with spirited debate.
Okay, but Derek,
Professor Derek. They are Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. With Caroline Fenton, Willie Donick, and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason.
We got the whole thing covered. We got it all covered.
Here.
Weekdays at 11 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Mookie Betts. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Nick Keys are here with you, discussing Mike Vrabel and the Titans. Apparently, not that this is a huge surprise, I agree with you. Robert Kraft loves him some Mike Vrabel, thinks he could be a good idea to succeed Bill Belichick whenever that time comes. Taking your thoughts on that. By the way, Jared has texted me. Wait. The 11th overall guard isn't the most important aspect of the team. It's the quarterback who they let everyone else select or had the opportunity to select so they could draft the guard is there. He loves that.
Yeah.
Although,
does he disagree with us?
No, he
okay.
Agrees. We did talk about that at the time, though. Like,
sure.
If you love Will Levis, why did you give everybody else the chance to pick him?
It's a fair thing to bring up. I mean, I suppose, did the Titans somehow have information they believe that they'd be able to still get him?
Maybe they just love Skoronski that much.
Well, I mean, they clearly love Skoronski.
Of course.
So, I mean.
At guard, though. He's not playing tackle.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't even ask about it.
Yeah.
He's playing guard.
Yep, they need him next to the 148-pound center.
Let's go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Adam in Portland. Adam, good morning. Thanks for calling in.
I mean, you're hitting all the bullets of that show every day, Joe. It's like you have a script right in front of you. Dude,
Robby set me up.
Just imagine this, all right? Imagine we did hop, and I'm not going to talk about this much. I do have another point, but just imagine that we did trade up and get him with this team that we have, Stroud, and then we don't have first and second round picks for the next 3 years. Like, That's my argument to that. Like, you're going to kill this guy if you make that trade. So I agree. I think we did the right move right there. But I heard the same report you did, Robbie, that they're in love with Vrabel like that. And I'm to the point where I'm like, do it. Like, make the move. If they love him that much, Joe, I hear you saying, do you want to get on this carousel? But he did not come into a losing team. He came into a winner. Malarkey had the losing team and turned it into a winner. So I don't know what Vrabel is doing and what he's not doing, but I'm saying I don't believe in him as much as everybody else does. I really never have. Like, I love winning football, and I'm not going to bag on a coach while we're winning, but I don't know how much of that was Vrabel, honestly, dude. And I'm to the point where I'm a little sick of hearing about the Patriots, and if they want him that much, they should take him, and they should pay us for him. If somebody offered us 2 firsts, I think it would be stupid to not take that, honestly.
Thanks for the call. I mean, the 2 first part of this is interesting. Like, if to me, and you know me, I like Mike Vrabel. If somebody's offering me 2 first-round picks for anything, I'm at least stopping and considering it, right? I mean, I think it's something you got to think about. Now, would I absolutely do it for 2 first-round picks? I don't know, but I'd certainly think about it. I mean, that's a heck of an offer to pass up. You think he could get that? You think that the Patriots would be comfortable offering 2 first-round picks for Mike Vrabel?
I really don't know. I mean, I mean, it's a lot, and like you said, that team they're in a tough spot with their roster. It's a long-term move. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing there. Now they're trending now to maybe get right back up there and get one of these guys here in this draft, but yeah. So, well, not if they trade a first-round pick.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing.
I mean, you said the word. I still think that it applies to the discussion. It's worth the discussion because this is a credible report. But I still think the word Fantasyland applies to this. But I would think about it. And again, it's just like I hear Adam. I mean, I don't think Adam's on an island with what he just said there. I mean, there are other Titans fans who are out on Vrabel. Look, when you lose as much as the Titans have lost in the last year, then that's fair to look at everything, including coaching. There's a little bit of shine that's been lost for sure. It's fair, I think, to wonder about shelf life.
Sure,
I mean, maybe he will be a shelf life coach. He's got a very overpowering personality, right? Another question about this would be, rather than be in the wilderness, if you're really considering this, like, do you internally look at, I don't know, like Tim Kelly? Well, again, the Titans have success. And Will Levis has success and becomes a good quarterback, and the offense, like Tim Kelly is like, will get a head coaching opportunity. That's just how it works. OCs in this league,
probably not after this year, but
no,
what you're
but
saying
I'm
in the
saying
future,
at some point.
Yeah.
I'm saying at some point. Do you see it like you'd like to keep the same basic, program in place, but you could just elevate Tim Kelly to be your head coach? I mean, that's part of the discussion too. Like, do you have anybody internally where you can still have sort of continuity and stability, but then you send the big guy packing?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, let's say the Patriots after this year move on from Belichick, whether that's he goes to some front office role or they trade him to the Commanders, like it's being talked about out there right now, whatever it is, and they're coming after Vrabel. Like, how much, if you're the Titans, do you think about, okay, well, Will Levis showed a lot of promise. Let's assume he starts the rest of this year and looks good. He showed a lot of promise. Do we really want to change up the head coach, the system, all those things for your quarterback that just showed a lot of promise? Because as you pointed out, I mean, that's what this year is about. That's what the next couple of years is about if you're the Titans, is trying to put Will Levis in a position to succeed where you feel like you've got your quarterback of the future. And are you best served by doing that? Even if you're getting a couple of high picks back from New England, does it make sense to disrupt the system, the coaching, all that, if you're trying to develop Will Levis? I don't know.
Yeah, right. How much credit do you give those guys? What do you think is going on? And look, if the Titans go 6-11 and it's just a death march to the end and Levis is up and down or whatever, and it's just like you just don't know where things are going. Or let's say they go 9-8 and Levis is largely very good. If like Levis in 2 games is what we see the rest of the way.
Yep.
And they're like 9-8 and they're fighting and they're whatever, they get close to a playoff spot or whatever. And I think there's a big difference between those 2 things too. And you can't judge a decision like this on a short sample size, but I mean, the latest information does matter.
I agree. The compensation part of this is the interesting thing. Like, how much does Robert Kraft love Vrabel? Like, is he willing to offer 2 first-round picks? Is he willing to offer a first and a third? Like, the article talks about at least 1 first-round pick. For 1 first-round pick, I'm probably not doing that if I'm the Titans. Now, if you start to get into 2 first-round picks, then I'm starting to think about it. But 1 first-round pick, I'm probably not doing. Yeah, that's just me. But I like, how much does Kraft love Vrabel, and what lengths is he willing to go to try to make this happen?
I mean, hey, have the phone call.
Absolutely.
How about a first-round pick every 3 years? I mean, it's worth having a conversation. Michael says
Bobby Bonilla, a first-round pick.
Exactly.
Continually coming in.
Happy Mike Vrabel Day. You get another pick. Michael says I would trade Vrabel for Marvin Harrison Jr. Can you just do it like an Ohio State trade?
Yeah, just swap him out.
Trade him to the Buckeyes.
Hermeldo Henry says, you absolutely do it for 2 first-round picks. Players make the team better, more so than coaches. Belichick is a perfect example of that. Hasn't been in the playoffs since 3 certain players left his team. That's from Hermeldo Henry on the text line.
Yeah. Well, that's look, I agree that players are more important. Coaching is still very important. It's kind of interesting if you're Kraft, like you're seeing, maybe some of your perception of your coach, maybe a little bit change in the wake of, the post-Brady era. So are you actually going to value another coach that much over players?
I got a text that says, sure, let's trade Vrabel, and maybe we can get the next Caleb Farley, Isaiah Wilson, or Traylon Burks. From an unnamed texter on the text line.
Hey, give up all your draft picks since you're not good at drafting.
This is going to be fun because the Patriots are bad. I mean, I watched some of their game yesterday. They're terrible. They're 2-7. They're going to be an awful. Like it does feel like this is going to be it for Belichick, one way or the other. Whether that's him getting fired or traded or moved to a different role, whatever it is, it kind of feels like that's coming to an end. So it is going to be interesting to see what they do. I mean, I have my doubts that Josh McDaniels is getting head coaching opportunity number 3.
Oh, no.
They do have Gerard Mayo there, who they've kind of been, in some ways, it feels like they've been preparing him for this.
Yeah.
So I wonder, like, does Kraft love Vrabel enough where he's just like, yeah, I'll give 2 first-round picks to the Titans? Or with Gerard Mayo sitting there, do they go that way? I don't know. But he's been there forever.
Well, there's also what if they make the trade, and as Anthony says, then the Titans can hire him, and then Levis. Imagine how hard Levis would play for a coach named Mayo.
Oh God!
Well done, Anthony.
That may be the text of the day. 615-737-1025. Our phone number. More of your thoughts on Vrabel coming up next. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Are you always on the go? We've got you covered. Download the Game Nashville app from your app store and listen to us wherever you are.
Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode.
It's Chase McCabe.
Caroline, Willie, D-Mace.
Dominic Cavity.
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
Good station. I listen to it all the time.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormonal deficiencies and imbalances. And Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve your quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit our website at coolspringsmd.com.
Blue Raider fans, your home for all the MTSU football and men's basketball action is on 93.3 Classic Hits and 95.1 Classic Hits in the borough. Catch the action all season long with Chip Walters on the call. Go Blue Raiders!
West Coast Taco Shop features some of the best California-style Mexican food. And this week, you can try it for half off with Nashville's best deal of the week. Their burritos, nachos, quesadillas, and a variety of tacos are delicious. And once you try this authentic cuisine, you'll become a regular. They also have a salsa bar. And ask about their free live music nights. West Coast Taco Shop, Murfreesboro Pike in Nashville. Get half off now at thegamenashville.com/deals.
Yo, check this out.
Ah, Pourvu. Imagine a wonderland, vast as the eye can see. We're talking a whopping 10,000 square feet, stocked with wine, spirits, and over 1,500 beers from around the globe. And if that's not enough, they've got you covered with a massive horde of ready-to-guzzle cocktails like High Noon.
Well, saddle up, partner. It's Pourvu, the adult equivalent of a candy store. Open from 9 to 9 Monday through Saturday and from 10 to 6 on Sundays, too. Not leaving your sofa during the next big game? No worries, my jersey-wearing couch potato. You can place your orders at pourvu.us or download their super snazzy app.
Just picture hockey night. He shoots, he scores, we toast.
We're talking about a good old round of tequila shots, of course.
Tequila!
Pourvu has it all. Tequila is always a big hit, just like Uncle Frank at the family parties.
Wine, spirits, beers, mixers, barware, gifts, party supplies, and more.
Curbside pickup at absolutely zero charge, mind you, and home delivery.
Indian Lake Boulevard in Hendersonville, just off Vietnam Vets, exit 7.
Pourvu. It's all Frenchy and fancy, meaning for you.
Score!
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Good morning. Good morning. You're locked into Robby and Rexrode.
I have the radio on. I'm listening to
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in. Final segment of the day. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Taking your thoughts on the Titans. Mike Vrabel on the text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Stephen from Hendersonville says, I like Vrabel as a coach, but I don't love it. I do not see long-term success with a team whose coach isn't the backbone of the offense. Otherwise, if there's any success, there's almost a constant revolving door at OC. This would hinder the development of a young quarterback. What do you make of that? The revolving door at OC if you do have success.
No, I mean, look, that's a fair point. So there's 2 points made here, one fair, one not. That is fair. Alex from Nashville, the whole franchise, he's a philosophy change. They have to get away from this outdated and boring offense, trade Vrabel, get Levis protection weapons. Pet peeve high on the list. Guys, the offense is a modern offense, I promise you. You know, they've been relying on Derrick Henry. They're built around Derrick Henry. When Derrick Henry's not here anymore, they're not going to – it's just going to look – it's personnel-based. And by the way, Vrabel's first year, which he's gotten criticized for, I think unfairly, they were not built around Derrick Henry. They were all about Deion Lewis and this modern offense and, oh, Marcus is doing all these RPOs and yay. And then they're like, oh, crap, this guy's our best player. Let's give him the ball. That's what it is. It's personnel-based. It's not scheme-based.
Until next year when Henry's gone and Levis is out there throwing it 45 times a game. They're like, why can't we run the ball?
Right, exactly.
Where's the running game gone?
Right, yeah, exactly. You can't win without running the football. Yeah. So that one I got to reject. The idea, though, look, it's a fair point about if you have a defensive coach who then – makes good OC hires, but is, dependent, defers to the OC, and it's the OC's baby, the offense, and then you're good, and then the OC keeps getting hired away to be a head coach over and over, then, I mean, whereas if you're the head coach and it's your baby, the offense is your baby, then you're not getting hired away, right?
Yeah.
So I do get that. I mean, I think that's a fair thing to bring up in all this. That said, if you have a good, if you have a good system for hiring people, and I think right now you got Tim Kelly, you got Charles London. I think Tim Kelly gets a job, not this year, but at some point, Charles London's ready to pop in there, be OC. I mean, that's what you have to do is you have to keep bringing people along and have a plan for that. So it's not the end of the world, but I mean, it's a fair thing to bring up. If you have a coach a good one, because like the Packers have that too, and you want to run him out of the country.
I do.
So, You know, it's all, again, be careful what you wish for. Applies to a lot of different things.
I agree with Corey Curtis from this standpoint. Like, if you're Amy Adams Strunk seeing this over the weekend, like, I'm not freaking out about that. Like, I think it's good. It's because now, number one, we had somebody ask earlier, like, why can't Vrabel be like a college football coach and just pick up and go? And you can't do that in the NFL. So your contract actually means something in the NFL, and you have to stay there. So if the Titans don't want this to happen, it's not going to happen. Like, if they don't want to entertain the idea of trading for Vrabel, then he's going to be here, and he's going to be the head coach. On the flip side, like, if it reaches a point where you're Amy Adams Strunk and you want to move on from Vrabel, I mean, there's a team out there that instead of outright firing him, you might be able to get some compensation for if that's the way you wanted to go. So, like, I don't.
Yeah, if you want to move on from him, this is awesome.
Like, this is like,
awesome.
Hey,
news.
all right. Well, let me tell you, I don't think Amy Adams Strunk wants to move on from Vrabel. I'm just saying that if the Titans are not in some like disadvantageous position today, just because Robert Kraft apparently wants Mike Vrabel.
No, they've got the control. I mean, look, I think if it's real to the source close to the Patriots, sources close to the Patriots, is that right?
Close to the Patriots.
Close to the Patriots. You know, yeah, hopefully it's not like that one dude, the Barstool goofball, you know, who goes all the
Portnoy?
Boston, yeah, you know, something like that. You know, hopefully it's, you know, if it's real,
Rodney Harrison.
Yeah, right.
Just keep listing off former Patriots.
Teddy Bruschi. Yeah, I mean,
so it's just close to the Patriots. Vrabel himself.
Yeah, well, what a twist that would be. But, you know, if it's real, look, I will say, like, I think a real conversation is worthwhile. I have no idea if that's even something that could be on the table, you know. But, like, the future of the franchise, how Mike feels here.
Yep.
How he feels about that, all that. I mean, look, I don't think it's a bad thing if this is a real situation where the Patriots are seriously throwing something up serious for you to try to get Vrabel. Have a serious conversation. But if I'm Amy Adams Strunk and I have that conversation and I hear back from Vrabel, no, this is we're going to win Super Bowls here in Nashville, then I'm not trading them.
What if you hear back, you know, I really love the Patriots. I'd like to be there.
Then I'm trading them. You know, if the compensation is good enough, like if it's actually 2 first-round picks, and his heart is there, okay, then you know it's not it's not the end of the world. But as far as like people getting excited about this, again, you can, like Adam called earlier, he's right. Mike Mularkey, Vrabel took over a playoff-winning team. I mean, it's been bad lately, so 12 of 15 is what it is. Haven't won a road game in forever, all that stuff. How much do you put on coaching? How much of the success earlier do you put on coaching?
Yeah, it's a great question. And also, like, if you're Vrabel, how do you view like, how much does the rest of this year and what Levis does influence how you view the Titans, influence how you view the Patriots? Because the Patriots, as you know, as you said, it's a long-term type thing. And they got a lot of holes. They got to figure out quarterback. Their roster is not good. It's going to be a process to dig your way out of this if you're the Patriots. Whereas if you're the Titans and Levis hits, like, you could be competitive in the AFC again pretty quickly if Levis hits. So how much does that factor into how you view things if you're Vrabel too?
Yeah, I mean, I think it factors in, but this is still – Vrabel's young, and so he's signed up for this life. So
he is.
I think – I do think that what you think of the whole organization, starting at the top, would be a big thing here. You know, now if Amy Adams Strunk asks you about this, I don't know that you're going to say, and I just had my questions about you, Amy, after you fired John Robinson in the middle of the season last year. But that is, I mean, does Vrabel think that organization, starting with Robert Kraft, even though, again, you're talking about Robert Kraft
at age 82.
Yeah, you're talking about a Robert Kraft child taking over. But does he feel better about that ownership structure and everything than he does here? I think that's more important than the short-term QB thing.
I agree.
Again, he doesn't have the power anyway.
Let's go to our 102.
He doesn't have a no-trade clause. Sorry.
He could trade himself.
Yeah, that's right.
Is he making trades? Let's go to our 102.5 The Game phone line. Welcome in Chris. Chris, good morning. Thanks for calling in. We got about 30 seconds.
You guys just tapped on it, the no-trade clause thing. What does that look like for a coach versus a player? We talk about that all the time. Thanks.
Yep, thanks for the call, Chris.
I've never heard of that. That'd be wild if a coach had
no trade
clause.
Now, Amy, I'll sign this deal but you can't trade me.
Now, listen, I have one team on here that I will go to, the Detroit Lions, and that's it.
Is it like hockey where they got a 10-team no-trade list?
Yeah, your list.
You will not send me to the Raiders.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, exactly. Anyone but dumb
I'm
and dumber,
not going
dumb
to
and
the
dumber
Browns. I won't do it.
I don't know. I mean, that's.
This is probably going to end up being a giant nothing burger.
Oh, yeah.
But it is pretty fun to talk about.
It's been a fun day in Fantasyland.
It's been a fun day in Fantasyland. I mean, it's a real report. I'm sure there's genuine interest from Robert Kraft and the Patriots. Will it end up materializing? I have my doubts.
Will the whole day be Vrabel to Patriots talk?
I don't know.
Will tomorrow on this show be?
Anybody got a wiretap of what Vrabel and Kraft said to each other in the owner's suite a couple weeks ago?
Connor Stein is a free agent.
That
He has resigned his post.
That does it for us today. Here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll be back 6 a.m. tomorrow. Chasing Big Joe up next. You're listening to 102.5, 106.3 The Game.